Chapter 26:19. Soaring heaven's sex strength is definitely not that strong, but the heavenly demons might be terrifying. Lu Qingyuan said with a gloomy face, the key is that before this, heavenly demons would only appear on a large scale in outer heaven mountain and dark forest. Where did soaring heaven sex heavenly demons come from? I don't know if there's a gathering place for heavenly demons in Cloud Immortal Continent. Night Sorrow thought for a moment before continuing. If there's a sovereign among the heavenly demons, Cloud Immortal Continent will definitely be plunged into misery and suffering. If there's a sovereign, the 7 sovereigns of the God realm will definitely not sit idly by. Lu Qingyuan was not particularly worried about this matter. He knew that if a sovereign-level heavenly demon appeared in Cloud Immortal Continent, Sovereign Tianai and the others would definitely immediately take action. I'm worried that distant water won't be able to quench the immediate thirst. After all, a sovereign can bleed for thousands of miles with a single thought. Night Sorrow explained. Hearing this, Lu Qingyuan said, if that kind of thing happens, you and I won't be able to solve it at all. It's better not to think too much, lest it affects your Tao heart. Good. You continue drinking with them. I'll go out and meet the younger generation. Yi Shang informed Lu Qingyuan and excused himself from the others. Then, he walked out of the sky-clear palace and went to drink with the younger generation. Compared to the dull atmosphere in sky-clear hall, the atmosphere among the younger generation was much more lively. Brother Yi, you've also calculated it. Come, let Tian Yi toast you. Seeing Night Sorrow come out, Yun Tianyi, who had joined the Heavenly Star Pavilion, immediately raised her wine cup. The others' eyes were all locked on Night Sorrow. After this 7-sect grand competition, he had become one of the most popular figures in the 7 sects and could stand shoulder to shoulder with many legends. Good, let's drink until we're drunk today. Night Sorrow responded with a smile. On the way back to Tianyun School, there was likely to be a big battle, so Night Sorrow wanted to relax. As for the others in Tianyun School, they were in a good mood because they won the double championship in the 7-sect grand competition. None of them drank less. Even Mei Ruoshua's cheeks were red from drinking. Night Sorrow, can you come out for a chat? When the banquet was about to end, Night Sorrow suddenly received a message from Murong Kai-yi. Senior Sister Tsai, what's the matter? Yi Shang used sound transmission to reply. Follow me. Murong Kai-yi said and then took the lead to leave the banquet and walk out of the courtyard. Seeing Murong Kai-yi, whose cheeks were already red from drinking, leave, Night Sorrow was actually a bit embarrassed. He guessed that the other party would probably mention something about a man and a woman. He already had a family and several wives, so he didn't want to get involved with women. However, out of courtesy, he still stood up and walked out of the courtyard. Where is he? When Night Sorrow walked out of the courtyard with a perturbed mood, he didn't see Murong Kai-yi's figure. After that, he continuously searched the surroundings, but he didn't see the other party's figure. He couldn't help but feel puzzled. If you want to save Murong Kai-yi, then follow me. Remember, don't call anyone else. Otherwise, I will immediately kill him. At this time, a masked man in black suddenly appeared in front of Night Sorrow. After saying a sentence, he stood up and flew away. This person can subdue Murong Kai-yi in a moment. His strength is certainly not ordinary. However, saving people is more important. I can't care so much. Night Sorrow didn't think much and directly chased after him. According to his judgment, the other party certainly didn't have the confidence to immediately kill him. Therefore, he used Murong Kai-yi to lead him somewhere. Because if the other party was the tyrannical divine king, he wouldn't need to talk nonsense. He would just directly kill him after appearing. With this thought, the confidence in his heart immediately grew. He is so familiar with the Tianqing Gate. He should be someone from the Tianqing Gate. Night Sorrow, who had used the Void Extreme Shadow Body to chase after the man in black, judged that the other party was from the Tianqing Gate and immediately became puzzled. After all, now that the Tianqing Gate's gate master Tan Qingfeng no longer targeted the Tianyun school, he didn't know who would dare to risk being punished by the gate master to deal with him. A formation? Night Sorrow, who was following the other party, chased for a while and found that the man in black had entered a formation. He stopped outside. He started to use the eye of the sea serpent to check the formation. With this, Night Sorrow judged that the formation in front of him was an ordinary Divine Emperor level formation. He was completely capable of breaking it, so he followed without hesitation. I didn't expect you to really dare to come in. When Yi Shang entered the array, the black-robed man immediately stopped in his tracks. Where is Murong Kai Yi? Night Sorrow looked at the man in black and asked. From the other party's aura, Night Sorrow could see that he was a high-level Divine Emperor. In the face of a high-level Divine Emperor, he wasn't completely powerless and appeared very calm. She is in the depths of the formation. If you can defeat me, you can save her. The man in black said coldly. Unfortunately, you don't have the chance to defeat me. My thoughts are the exact opposite of yours. Night Sorrow, whose eyes were filled with determination, took out the Samsara halberd and held it in his hand. Before you die, I'll let you know the truth. I am Wu Yu's guardian. You killed him, and now I'll kill you. It's very fair. The man in black smiled maliciously and took out a war saber from his spatial artifact. This war saber exuded an evil killing intent. I don't care who you are. My purpose here is to save someone. Night Sorrow replied coldly. Then, he used the Samsara halberd and attacked the man in black with the Samsara strike. Child's play. Next, I'll let you understand the true difference between a Divine Emperor and a Divine Emperor. The black-clothed man responded to Night Sorrow's Samsara strike with a strike of his saber. As far as he was concerned, even though Night Sorrow had won the 7-sect Grand Competition's upper god group, his true cultivation level was only that of a mid-level high god. He was several levels lower than a high-level divine lord like him, so he definitely wouldn't be a threat. However, when the two clashed, he was surprised to find that the situation was completely different from what he had imagined. Although he was fine after taking Night Sorrow's attack, countless cracks had appeared on his war saber. If he took another blow, it would probably shatter completely. Very good. The divine artifact in your hand is very good. It can be used by me. The man in black was at a disadvantage, but he was not angry. He felt that Night Sorrow was able to gain the upper hand because of the Samsara halberd in his hand. He laughed sharply and a strong killing intent suddenly erupted from his body. He gathered his divine origin energy and attacked Night Sorrow with a unique skill. Heart-killing poison hand. After hesitating for a while, Night Sorrow did not use the Treastrimsa battle's secret skill. Instead, he used the Samsara palm of the void to fight with his opponent. He wanted to test his true combat strength. Boom! With a loud sound, the two of them once again ended up in a tie. However, at this time, Night Sorrow saw an obvious black gas in his palm. If you are hit by my heart-killing poison hand, there is no cure. You can just wait for your death. When the man in black saw the black gas in Night Sorrow's palm, he laughed confidently. Isn't it just some dark aura? What is there to be afraid of? In the face of the black chi, Night Sorrow used the power of merit to disperse it. I forgot that you are a body of merit. So what if you disperse the black gas? What awaits you is still death. Chapter 26-20. The array that had been set up long ago was activated in an instant. Night Sorrow immediately felt a strong suppressive force that made it difficult for him to circulate his divine essence. The method used to set up this array was not exquisite, but the effect was not bad. Hee, how do you feel? The man in black's voice was filled with pride and indifference. He always felt that a divine lord was stronger than a high god. It's nothing much, because your formation is nothing to me. Night Sorrow shouted and used the Treastrimsa battle mystic technique. He used the Samsara halberd to shoot out the raging flames demon at the center of the array. The core of the array was destroyed, and the array that had just been activated immediately lost its effect. Forbidden Spear. Divine Essence Dragon Lock Array. After breaking the array, Night Sorrow immediately shot out the forbidden spear and used the divine essence dragon lock array to restrain the man in black who wanted to escape. In an instant, the trapped man in black was hit by the forbidden spear before he could break out of the sealed space. His entire right arm was shattered by the samsara halberd. Little bastard, what kind of technique is this? The man in black did not watch Night Sorrow's battle at the 7-sect tournament, so he did not know what the divine essence dragon lock array was. After suffering a loss, his expression changed drastically. Earth-shattering roar. Faced with the man in black's questioning, Night Sorrow directly used the green rock soul-rending roar to respond, causing the man in black to bleed from his orifices. How can this be? He's clearly just an intermediate high god. The man in black was bleeding from his orifices and roared in disbelief. At this point, he still thought that there was a difference in strength between him and Night Sorrow. If you want to deal with me, just come at me. Those who touch my friends will die without a doubt. Night Sorrow roared and used the second move of the green rock soul-rending roar, earth-shattering roar. Night Sorrow, who had not used the Treastrimsa battle mystic technique yet, shouted the third roar, break samsara. Wu Yu's path protector's divine soul was immediately shattered. The black-clothed man still wanted to say something, but Night Sorrow used his halberd to take his life. A friend was a sore spot. Yi Shan wasn't polite to him at all. After dealing with Wu Yu's guardians quickly and efficiently, Night Sorrow completely broke the formation. Sure enough, he saw Murong Sai trapped in the depths of the formation. Are you okay? Night Sorrow asked. At this time, Murong Kai was somewhat startled. Seeing Night Sorrow rushing over, she calmed down. She said, "You saved me again." "Thank you, Night Sorrow. I didn't do it on purpose." Since she was caught, the effects of the alcohol had probably worn off. She did not mention the question that Night Sorrow was afraid of. Instead, she was worried that Night Sorrow would blame her for this. "It's my fault this time. They came for me," Night Sorrow said in embarrassment. The other party had come because of Wu Yu, so naturally, it had nothing to do with Murong Kai. Alas. I can only hold you back. Murong Kai's face showed a trace of helplessness. At the same time, she also figured out some things. Not long after, Tianqing Gate's sect master, Tan Qingfeng, and others heard Night Sorrow's roar and rushed to the scene. After learning the cause and effect of the matter from Night Sorrow, Tan Qingfeng said, "Take back the mountain that Wu Yu obtained and dismiss all his servants." Plotting against Night Sorrow in Tianqing Gate would definitely affect the relationship between the two sects. This was something he could not tolerate. After this small interlude, the banquet finally came to an end as the sky was about to brighten. The next day, each sect left Tianqing Gate one after another to return to their sects to call for reinforcements. They were ready to besiege Soaring Heaven sect. When it was Night Sorrow's turn to leave with Tianyun School's cultivators, Tan Qingfeng suddenly sent a message to Lu Qingyuan, "This king and grand elder Fan will send you back to Tianyun School." "Sect Master Tan, won't this delay your handling of the sect's affairs?" Lu Qingyuan immediately responded. He was not used to Tan Qingfeng's enthusiasm. "It's fine, in any case, we need to hurry to Soaring Heaven sect. This sect master will lead all the elites of Heavenly Clear sect to accompany you to Soaring Heaven sect's location. With the two sects together, there was no need to worry about anything else," Tan Qingfeng said. The elites of Tianqing Gate acting as bodyguards for Tianyun School was a treatment that no one else had ever received. "Good. In that case, our two sects will go to Soaring Heaven sect together." Lu Qingyuan did not dislike having people from Tianqing Gate as bodyguards, but he felt that this would make Night Sorrow owe him a favor. When communicating with Tan Qingfeng, he asked for Night Sorrow's opinion, and Night Sorrow did not object. When Tianyun School's group appeared on the deck of the Heavenly Cloud shuttle, Tan Qingfeng had already taken the elites of Tianqing Gate to hide in Lu Qingyuan's space artifact. This lineup was even more powerful than what he had promised. "Night Sorrow, what are you thinking about?" When the Heavenly Cloud shuttle flew in the direction of Tianyun School, Lu Qingyuan saw Night Sorrow standing on the deck. His thoughts drifted and he asked. I'm a little worried about my family in the sect, Night Sorrow answered truthfully. The only thing that could make his thoughts unsteady was his family. Now that most of Yuan Tianji's powerhouses were on the Heavenly Cloud shuttle, the sect was very empty. He was a little worried that the other vice sect master, Ho Jun, would make a move. Night Moon Dynasty's people were all on the mountain peak where Yuan Tianji was. If something happened to him, the Night Moon Dynasty's people would definitely be the first to be implicated. Lu Qingyuan, who knew what Night Sorrow was thinking, comforted him. Don't worry, Ho Jun is a suspicious person. He won't make a move easily. Otherwise, we wouldn't have sent so many divine monarch elders. I hope so. Night Sorrow nodded and continued to open the sea serpent's eye to observe the situation ahead. After the Heavenly Cloud shuttle had traveled for half a day and passed through a stretch of ruins, Yishan suddenly warned, Stop, there's an ambush ahead. What's going on? Lu Qingyuan, who had stopped the Heavenly Cloud shuttle, immediately asked. Someone has set up a trapping array on the road ahead. If we rashly move forward, we might be trapped. Night Sorrow explained. He had seen this with the sea serpent's eye. Haha. Lu Qingyuan, I didn't expect you to be so alert. As soon as Night Sorrow finished speaking, a figure flew down from the clouds. Ho Jun. What are you trying to do? Lu Qingyuan immediately asked angrily when he saw the appearance of the person who had come. This person was none other than the vice sect master of Tianyun School, Ho Jun, whom he and Night Sorrow had been discussing. What am I trying to do? Of course I'm trying to cut off your right-hand man for Yuan Tianji. Ho Jun said with a fake smile. Then he growled, all of you, come out. As soon as his voice fell, more than 30 divine monarchs with divine artifacts appeared in front of the Heavenly Cloud shuttle. Only a small half of these cultivators were from Tianyun School. Night Sorrow, who had begun to observe these divine monarchs with the sea serpent's eye, warned, at least half of these people have the aura of extraterrestrial demons. Everyone, be careful. Hearing this, Lu Qingyuan immediately rebuked angrily, Ho Jun, not only are you colluding with Soaring Heaven sect, you are also colluding with extraterrestrial demons? Do you know how much damage extraterrestrial demons do to the God realm? These things have nothing to do with me. I only have one goal, and that is to defeat Yuan Tianji and take the position of sect master. Chapter 26-21. Don't leave anyone alive? Ho Jun, you have completely lost your mind. Has your mind been corrupted by the extraterrestrial demons? Ho Jun's evil and cold words made Lu Qingyuan, the elder of Tianyun School, shudder. He used to be a little extreme in his actions, but now he had completely fallen into madness. There had never been such a person in Tianyun School since ancient times. Lu Qingyuan felt very angry and felt that this was a disgrace to the sect. Lost my mind? No. I have only comprehended the truth. Only killing can bring new life to the Cloud Immortal Continent. Only killing can cultivate a new ruler for the Cloud Immortal Continent. Ho Jun's eyes flashed red. This was no longer the state of a normal cultivator of the God realm. It was a sign that he had completely fallen into the demonic path. Ho Jun has been completely influenced by the power of the extraterrestrial demons and has fallen into the demonic path. Everyone, be careful. Night Sorrow, who had activated the eye of the sea serpent, could see that Ho Jun had absorbed a large amount of evil power and his mind had been affected. Over time, he had finally fallen into the demonic path. Don't worry. He won't be able to cause any trouble today. The divine King Zhuangqing, who had been hiding in Lu Qingyuan's spatial dharma artifact, suddenly came out and snorted coldly. Ho Jun's performance had really disappointed him, the Grand Elder. If Night Sorrow and Si Kongxiang hadn't accidentally bumped into Ho Jun's communication with the outside world, the consequences might have been unimaginable. Perhaps the future of Tianyun School would have all died in the hands of Ho Jun. Zhuangqing, old man, do you think you can reverse the situation just because you appeared? When he saw the divine King Zhuangqing appear, Ho Jun, who still had a crazed look on his face, berated him coldly. Ho Jun, if a man wants to die, he must first go crazy. Today, I will kill you with my own hands and clean up the Tianyun school. The divine King Zhuangqing was one of the grand elders in Tianyun school that everyone respected. In the past, even the sect master had been very respectful to him. Now that he was being insulted by Ho Jun, he could no longer control his anger and immediately attacked Ho Jun, Zhuangqing. Do you think you are the divine king? As he spoke these words, an astonishing amount of divine king energy suddenly burst out of Ho Jun's body. It turned out that he had already successfully broken through to the God King realm from the half-step God King realm. Judging from his aura, he was even stronger than divine King Zhuangqing. No wonder he was so arrogant. St. It seems that you have completely sacrificed your dignity and bottom line for strength. The divine King Zhuangqing, who was already fighting with Ho Jun, shouted. Only the strong have the right to talk about dignity. Ho Jun, who was fighting with the divine King Zhuangqing, shouted angrily when he saw that the others didn't move. What are you waiting for? Wash the heavenly cloud shuttle with blood for me. Yes, sect master. Yes. Demon envoy. The 30 overseer gods behind Ho Jun responded and immediately surrounded the heavenly cloud shuttle. Their imposing manner was extremely shocking. Most of them, like Ho Jun, had absorbed the evil energy. The only difference was the amount they had absorbed. Night Sorrow, it's time for us to show up, right? Seeing that more than 30 Sir gods under Ho Jun were surrounding the heavenly cloud shuttle, the sect master of Tianqing Gate, Tan Qingfeng, immediately sent a telepathic message. He didn't ask for Lu Qingyuan's opinion. Instead, he contacted Night Sorrow directly. Obviously, he valued Night Sorrow more. According to Tan Qingfeng's judgment, since Ho Jun had led so many Sir gods, the people of Tianqing Gate should have shown up. Otherwise, the people of Tianyun School would definitely be suppressed. Sect Master Tan and Grand Elder Fan, don't come out to deal with the strong enemies. The Sir gods can send 20 people to help us. Night Sorrow replied. He couldn't see if there were people hiding in the dark with his sea serpent's eye, but he felt that since Ho Jun was called the demon envoy, he must have colluded with the extraterrestrial demons. Maybe there would be extraterrestrial demons on the level of the Divine King. Okay. Since it's Night Sorrow's idea, we'll cooperate. Tan Qingfeng chose 20 Sir gods who were good at fighting and communicated with Lu Qingyuan to let them go out to fight. In addition to the original 20 Sir gods, Night Sorrow's side had more Sir gods than Ho Jun's side. However, more than 40 Sir gods were fighting with more than 30 Sir gods. The situation was very chaotic, and it was hard to tell who had the upper hand. After the battle began, Night Sorrow put Mu Qingyu, Si Kongxiang, Mei Ruoxue, and the others into a spatial Dharma artifact. He himself joined the battle. A little high god dares to join the battle of Sir gods? You're really reckless. Night Sorrow's opponent was a middle-level Sir god. After confirming that Night Sorrow's aura was only that of a middle-level high god, he showed a look of disdain. You're just a middle-level Sir god. What right do you have to be arrogant? Facing this middle-level Sir god from Tianyun School, Night Sorrow showed no mercy. He took out the Samsara halberd and used the Samsara strike on his opponent. The current him could already fight a high-level Sir god. The power of his spear was very shocking. What? So strong? Facing Night Sorrow's Samsara strike, the middle-level Sir god's expression changed. He had never imagined that he would be facing Night Sorrow, who was ranked 3rd on the high god list. In the eyes of the people from Tianyun School, the high god disciples of Tianyun School were all useless. Only Mu Qingyu was barely passable, but compared to his elder brother, Mu Baiyu, he was nothing. As for the results of this year's grand competition and Night Sorrow's strength, they were still unclear. Instead of lamenting, why don't we think of a way to dodge? In the face of Night Sorrow's attack, this middle-level Divine Lord was actually a little distracted. As a result, his movement technique was slightly slower. The heavenly Samsara halberd ruthlessly struck his abdomen, shattering his dantian. Night Sorrow, who had succeeded in one strike, used the Samsara halberd to pierce his opponent's spirit sea. Amazing, Brother Yi. A middle-level Sir God was killed by you in one strike. No wonder you're the champion of the High God group in the 7-sect grand competition. Mu Qingyu, who was hiding in Night Sorrow's spatial artifact, had never seen Night Sorrow fight before and was shocked by his strength. Huh, Brother Mu, you flatter me. This opponent was obviously distracted. Otherwise, he would have been able to take one strike. As he spoke, Night Sorrow raised his head and used the sea serpent's eye to watch the battle. Seeing this, Night Sorrow was slightly surprised. Although the Tianyun School and Tianqing Gate's allied forces had the advantage in numbers, they were suppressed. The Sir Gods under Ho Jun and some of the cultivators from Soaring Heaven's sect all had powerful dark auras in their bodies. With the support of this heavenly demon aura, their combat strength had multiplied. In a situation of 30 against 40, they had a certain advantage. This won't do. Chapter 26-22. Night Sorrow felt that as long as the extraterrestrial demons didn't appear, the two divine kings, Tan Qingfeng and Fan Xianyun, shouldn't act rashly and alert the enemy. Glancing at the divine king, who was clearly being suppressed by Ho Jun, Night Sorrow directly activated the 33 Heavens battle technique and madly shouted the 3 moves of the Green Rock soul-splitting roar. However, he didn't attack Ho Jun. Instead, he attacked the many divine lords on Ho Jun's side to relieve the pressure on his side. Night Sorrow knew that with his strength, he wouldn't be able to affect the divine king at all. This was an insurmountable level suppression. Roar shakes mountains and rivers. Roar shatters heaven and earth. Roar shatters reincarnation. Night Sorrow, who had activated his strongest combat power, roared the Green Rock soul-splitting roar that the divine king had taught him. The situation instantly changed. Many of the cultivators on Ho Jun's side felt their souls tremble. Even if they didn't tremble, their minds were still greatly affected. It greatly affected their attacks. Many of the divine lords slowed down a lot. It was this small change that allowed the Tianyun School and the Tianqing Gate coalition army to catch their breath. Lu Yuming, go and kill that god. Ho Jun, who noticed that Night Sorrow's roar had affected the battle, immediately sent a message to a high-level divine lord to kill him. What a powerful aura. When Ho Jun's subordinate, Lu Yuming, flew in front of Night Sorrow discovered that he was extremely powerful. He judged that this Lu Yuming wasn't an ordinary high-level divine lord. He should be about the same level as Ho Jun, an outstanding figure who had absorbed a large amount of evil energy. I didn't expect that the declining Tianyun School would have a god of your strength. Lu Yuming held his spear and floated in front of Night Sorrow. He praised and said arrogantly, now, you have 2 paths in front of you. The first is submission, and the second is death. I choose to kill you. In the face of Lu Yuming's threat, Night Sorrow replied disdainfully. It was impossible for him to submit. At this moment, Tan Qingfeng sent a voice transmission to Night Sorrow from his spatial artifact. Little friend Night Sorrow, do you need help? He could feel Lu Yuming's strength and was afraid that Night Sorrow would not be his match. There's no need for that for now. Although he's strong, I have the power of virtue protecting me. It shouldn't be a problem for me to fight him. If Lu Yuming could reach his current strength without absorbing the evil energy, then Night Sorrow would definitely not be his match. But the problem now was that he had absorbed the evil energy, and Night Sorrow happened to have the means to restrain it. You chose to let me die. Very good. I admire your confidence. Lu Yuming was not angry when he heard Night Sorrow's words. Instead, he laughed. In his opinion, Night Sorrow was completely blindly confident. The evil energy gave Lu Yuming strength. It made him feel that as long as a cultivator below the Divine King's level, they would not be his match. It's too early for you to admire it. Look at the surprise I've brought you. As he spoke, Night Sorrow directly shot a forbidden spear at Lu Yuming. At the same time, he activated the Merit Dragon Lock Array and trapped him inside. Lu Yuming, who could not react in time, was unable to break out of the trap array. Knight Sorrow's heavenly samsara halberd struck his chest. If not for the outstanding defensive robe on his body, he would probably end up like the middle-level feather god just now. Very good. I have indeed underestimated you. But you can't kill me with just this. Lu Yuming roared in the trap array. He completely activated the evil energy in his body and used the spear in his hand to launch a frenzied attack on the Divine Essence Dragon Lock array. His strength was indeed extraordinary. Soon, he completely destroyed the Divine Essence Dragon Lock array. Take my unstoppable thunderbolt. Lu Yuming, who was holding a spear, was actually at a disadvantage in the hands of a high god. He immediately flew into a rage and attacked Knight Sorrow. He was originally an expert among the high-level divine lords. Later, he absorbed a large amount of evil energy and felt that he might even be able to enter the Divine Lord list and become an invincible Divine Lord. Very sharp spear techniques. If not for Knight Sorrow cultivating the Sea Serpent's Eye, he would not have been able to see through Lu Yuming's move. Now that he saw through it, he immediately realized the exquisiteness of this unstoppable thunderbolt. He immediately studied it and blasted an identical move at his opponent. Of course, just like before, his unstoppable thunderbolt was mainly of the samsara attribute. Boom! Knight Sorrow's samsara attribute unstoppable thunderbolt clearly suppressed Lu Yuming's thunder attribute. However, Lu Yuming's divine essence energy clearly had the advantage. The two of them were basically evenly matched. How do you know unstoppable thunderbolt? Lu Yuming asked in disbelief when he saw Knight Sorrow use unstoppable thunderbolt to neutralize his attack. Before you die, I'll naturally tell you. Knight Sorrow used the samsara heavenly halberd again and blasted out unstoppable thunderbolt. Then, he blasted out the virtuous dragon locking array at Lu Yuming. Using the power of virtue to construct a sealed space was the greatest nemesis of evil creatures. Lu Yuming, who had absorbed the evil energy, was trapped in the virtuous dragon locking array. The evil energy in his body was constantly purified. His body became much weaker in an instant. He could not even make a move to resist the attack, let alone break the array. Knight Sorrow's spear struck his dantian. Puff! With his dantian shattered, Lu Yuming's vitality immediately weakened a lot. He completely lost the ability to resist. He was defeated so suddenly. This made him feel extremely incredulous. However, he knew that it was useless to say anything now. He could not use his divine essence energy. He was an absolute cripple. All he could do was wait for death. I can see through your moves. As for purifying the evil energy in your body, that's the effect of the power of virtue. At this moment, Knight Sorrow's voice appeared in Lu Yuming's mind. Just as he heard these words, Knight Sorrow pierced his divine sea and completely destroyed his divine soul. Using the power of virtue to instantly weaken Lu Yuming's strength and make him enter a weakened state was the key to Knight Sorrow's easy victory. Little friend Knight Sorrow's methods are indeed shocking. I, Tan Qingfeng, am extremely impressed. Tan Qingfeng, who was in the spatial artifact, had been paying attention to Knight Sorrow's battle. When he saw him easily defeat Lu Yuming, he immediately praised him. Knight Sorrow's ability was truly strong. Tan Qingfeng's praise came from the bottom of his heart. In response, Knight Sorrow said politely, I have the power of virtue. It just happens to be the nemesis of evil energy. Otherwise, I wouldn't have one so easily. The power of virtue is not simple. You can rely on it to prove your Tao, Tan Qingfeng said enviously. The power of virtue was simply the nemesis of all evil. Moreover, its power was extremely shocking. People could not help but be envious. I will walk this path. Knight Sorrow, who had finished collecting Lu Yuming's spoils of war, said and once again entered the battlefield. How could Lu Yuming be killed by a mere high god? Who can tell this sect master what's going on? Ho Jun, who was suppressing the divine king Zhuangqing, immediately asked angrily when he realized that Lu Yuming had been killed by Knight Sorrow. Chapter 26-23 Sect Master, that exalted god used the power of merit to seal Lu Yuming in a formation and defeated him. One of the monarchs hurriedly replied. Usually, Ho Jun was the sect master, so he did not dare to add the word vice to his title. The power of merit. When did such a genius appear in the Tianyun school? While Ho Jun was fighting, he could not help but size up Night Sorrow to see if there was anything special about him. At the moment, Night Sorrow was already engaged in battle with the other divine lords. With the support of the power of merit, he had a natural counter to these cultivators with evil power, so he was able to fight them with ease. You are indeed not simple, a rare talent. You can be subdued and used by me. Ho Jun saw Night Sorrow's performance and shouted, "How did you do in the 7-sect grand competition that just ended?" My ranking has something to do with the Tianyun school. It has nothing to do with a traitor like you who has joined the extraterrestrial demons. Yi Shang snorted disdainfully in response. No matter how strong Ho Jun was, he was not worth mentioning in Night Sorrow's eyes. As a cultivator, he did not even hold the most important bottom line. How dare you? How dare you talk to me like this? I think you don't want to live anymore. No matter how talented you are just an exalted god. Ho Jun was instantly enraged by Night Sorrow's ridicule. I originally wanted to keep you alive and use you for myself. Now it seems that you brought this upon yourself. I, Night Sorrow, would rather be used by pigs, chickens, cows, and sheep than be used by trash like you who betrays my Tao heart. Night Sorrow responded bluntly to Ho Jun's threat. He was the opposite of Ho Jun. He would never betray his Tao heart for power. Exalted God Ant, since you're courting death, don't blame me for not using my talent. Ho Jun was completely enraged. Under Night Sorrow's influence, they were gradually losing the upper hand. He threw a huge millstone into the void and blasted a big hole. He looked up to the sky and shouted, "Come out, all of you come out." After roaring, Ho Jun let out a sharp, ear-piercing laugh. Everyone saw countless extraterrestrial demons crawling out of the big hole. Among them, there were at least 1,000,000 exalted gods and about 100 divine lords. There was even a divine king-level extraterrestrial demon. Demon Envoy Ho Jun, you are finally willing to open the passage and allow us to descend. The extraterrestrial demons led the extraterrestrial demons immediately let out a sinister laugh. Coupled with Ho Jun's shrill laughter, it made people shudder with fear. Devour these ignorant cultivators, don't leave a single one alive. Ho Jun ordered coldly as he looked at the divine king-level extraterrestrial shelter from the cold. In his opinion, he already had 2 divine king on his side. With such strength, he could completely crush the opponent in front of him. Good. We, the Sky Devils, have been silent for too long. It's time for us to drink blood again. The divine king-level shelter from the cold revealed a cold smile. Trash like you want to act like a tyrant in the Cloud Celestial continent? Truly laughable frogs in a well. He looked at Ho Jun and shelter from the cold's Night Sorrow with disdain. Merit deity? When the divine king-level shelter from the cold saw that Night Sorrow actually had the power of merit, he immediately ordered, "Kill this merit deity at all costs. Otherwise, he will become a great threat to our race in the future." Yes. Hearing shelter from the cold's order, the 100 or so divine lords and divine king under him all exploded with intense killing intent. Being targeted by so many divine lords, even Night Sorrow couldn't help but feel his scalp tingle. At this moment, Night Sorrow's Treastrimsa battle mystic technique's effect ended and the backlash came. He immediately swallowed 2 pills. After his strength recovered, he transmitted, "Sect Master Tan, you can all come out now. We have 3 divine kings on our side and only 2 on the other side. Although we are at a disadvantage in terms of numbers, we will definitely win easily." Yes. The divine king killing divine lords is like a grown man bullying a baby. Tan Qingfeng replied and transmitted his voice to Lu Qingyuan, "Let us out. We can start the battle now." Since the other side had already used their trump card, there was no need for them to hide anymore. Good. This time, we really have to thank Sect Master Tan. Otherwise, the elites of Tianyun School might have been completely wiped out. Lu Qingyuan said gratefully. No matter what Tan Qingfeng's purpose was, he had still helped them a lot. Ha ha ha. Elder Lu, don't be so polite. From now on, Tianqing Gate and Tianyun School are on the same side. It's only right that we support each other. Tan Qingfeng laughed and came out of the spatial artifact. After he appeared, he looked at Shelter from the Cold, the leader of the extraterrestrial demons, and said, "How dare you, extraterrestrial demons, appear in Yunxian continent in broad daylight and act so presumptuously? Do you really think there is no one in Yunxian continent? Upper Divine King?" Seeing Tan Qingfeng appear, the Divine King of Shelter from the Cold's arrogance immediately weakened. It was a middle Divine King and was obviously much weaker than Tan Qingfeng. "Sect Master, don't waste your breath on these beasts. Just kill them all." At this time, Tianqing Gate's Grand Elder Fan Xianyun also came out of Lu Qingyuan's spatial artifact. In addition, all the elite divine lords of Tianqing Gate also appeared. At this moment, all the trump cards that Night Sorrow had prepared had been revealed. Such a lineup was obviously more luxurious than Ho Jun's. People of Tianqing Gate, don't you have a deep grudge against Tianyun School? Why are you getting involved in this mess? Ho Jun, who originally thought that he had the upper hand, was dumbfounded. Although he had the evil power and was very crazy, he couldn't help but be stunned when he saw the huge difference in strength between the two sides. He didn't expect that Tianqing Gate would send so many masters to follow Tianyun School. If not, he was confident that he could kill Zhuangqing, Lu Qingyuan, and the others. Tianqing Gate and Tianyun School are both Orthodox Yunxian continent, and we won't tolerate your impudence. Attack! Tan Qingfeng didn't waste any time. He immediately gathered his divine origin energy, took out his divine artifact, and attacked the Divine King of Shelter from the Cold. Yes. There's no need to talk nonsense with them. Just kill them all. Tianqing Gate's Grand Elder Fan Xianyun agreed and rushed into the group of divine lords like a tiger in a flock of sheep. Good job. Tan Qingfeng and Fan Xianyun attacked one after the other. Night Sorrow didn't stay idle either. He shouted and used the reincarnation heavenly halberd to unleash the inferno demon slaying technique, burning the million-strong army of extraterrestrial demons. Half of the divine lords of the extraterritorial demons were burned by the flames that were tainted with the ancestral phoenix's energy. Chapter 26-24. These god-level extraterritorial demons had an extremely evil aura, but after being converted into the power of virtue, it was an extremely pure and holy energy. After absorbing the energy of hundreds of thousands of extraterritorial demons, Night Sorrow's power of virtue increased significantly, and he was one step closer to becoming a high god. This feels great. If I absorb the remaining hundreds of thousands of god-level extraterritorial demons, my power of virtue will have a chance to become a high god. This will increase my strength very quickly, but there are no side effects at all. It seems that my path will require me to constantly kill these evil creatures. After absorbing the power of virtue from so many god-level extraterritorial demons, Night Sorrow could not help but feel enlightened. The extraterritorial demons that everyone in the realm of gods feared were the best resources on his path of cultivation. They could help him increase his power of virtue, and then use it to prove his Tao, which would then lead to other aspects. All extraterritorial demons, heed my command. Kill the high god who slaughtered our race at all costs. Seeing Night Sorrow burn hundreds of thousands of extraterritorial demons to death, the Divine King of Shelter from the Cold crazily ordered. Extraterritorial demons were evil, cold-blooded, murderous, and had a strong desire for revenge. In the eyes of the Divine King of Shelter from the Cold, they would not retreat if they did not kill Night Sorrow today. Shelter from the Cold, I will help you kill this high god ant. After Shelter from the Cold gave the order, the other extraterritorial demons did not react. Ho Jun, who was fighting with the Divine King of Zhuangqing, took out a bronze cauldron that emitted an evil aura from his spatial artifact. After the bronze cauldron was summoned, it immediately flew toward Night Sorrow, wanting to suck him in. Oh no! This is the Divine King's power. I can't resist it. The bronze cauldron was very fast. After being summoned, it immediately flew to Night Sorrow's location and was pulled in by a strong suction force. Night Sorrow felt immense pressure. In the face of such a king-level divine artifact, his ability to resist was negligible. My friend Night Sorrow, don't be afraid. I will help you. I was too slow, please forgive me. Just as Night Sorrow was about to be pulled in by the wicked bronze cauldron, Tianqing Gate Master Tan Qingfeng flew from the side with a long sword in hand and slashed at the energy pulling Night Sorrow. After being struck by this sword, the energy that was tearing Night Sorrow apart was immediately severed. Haha. You demons, still want to cause trouble at this moment. All of you, surrender yourselves. Tan Qingfeng didn't stop after cutting off the pulling force of the evil bronze cauldron. He kept attacking the cauldron. Although this copper cauldron was a king-grade divine artifact, in the face of a high divine king's attack, it could only flee and fly back into Ho Jun's hands. Night, I of them, I, of, I, and it. Of it. It of it, of the, of them, of God, of them. Now that they are trapped by the king-level formation, not many can escape. After repelling Ho Jun's king-level divine artifact, Tan Qingfeng explained to Night Sorrow that his plan was to catch them all in one fell swoop. That was why he had been a little slow. Good move, Master Tan. You don't have to take care of me. Leave all of these evil creatures behind. The aura of the extraterrestrial demons was very evil. It was more evil than any creature Night Sorrow had ever seen. He sent a message to Tan Qingfeng. Then, he once again used Inferno Demon on the remaining God-level extraterrestrial demons. Ignorant child, how can we let you succeed again? Seeing Night Sorrow use Inferno Demon once again, the Divine King-level extraterrestrial shelter from the cold, who was already prepared, shouted coldly. He waved his hand and used a Divine King-level energy to dissolve the Inferno Demon. After neutralizing Night Sorrow's Inferno Demon, Shelter from the Cold also attacked Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow was helpless against a Divine King-level attack. At that moment, Tan Qingfeng once again blocked the attack. Then, he sneered, shameless extraterrestrial demon. As the Divine King, you actually dare to attack a high god. You extraterrestrial demons really have no bottom line. Your opponent is me. Let's fight. But despite what Tan Qingfeng said, he blocked Shelter from the Cold's attack. Then, he waved his hand and used a Divine King-level attack on the extraterrestrial demons. Then, when Shelter from the Cold tried to stop him, he swung his sword at his opponent. After all, Tan Qingfeng was a Divine King. He wasn't far from becoming a half-step ruler. He was very powerful. His casual attack felt like it could destroy heaven and earth. Shelter from the Cold had originally wanted to stop Tan Qingfeng from slaughtering his subordinates, but in the end, he chose to protect himself instead. Extraterrestrial demons didn't have a shred of kindness in their nature. How could they sacrifice themselves to save others? Boom! Tan Qingfeng's attack was unstoppable. It instantly killed all the remaining high gods. After succeeding, he laughed heartily. Extraterrestrial demons, you truly don't care about your companions. Life forms like you have no reason to exist. Today, all of you will die here. The roaring Tan Qingfeng was the strongest person present. While fighting against the Divine King-level extraterrestrial Shelter from the Cold, he was always looking for opportunities to attack the Divine Lord-level extraterrestrial demons and whittle down their numbers. As an upper Divine King, his casual attack was equivalent to the attack of a Divine King-level Divine Talisman. It wasn't something these Divine Lord-level extraterrestrial demons could block. Before long, he had personally killed more than a dozen Divine Lord-level extraterrestrial demons. This kind of result was even greater than that of Grand Elder Fan Xianyun, who specialized in fighting extraterrestrial demons. This was the difference in strength between an upper Divine King and a lower Divine King. Damn it. Damn it. Cultivator of the heavenly realm, you deserve to die. In the future, my celestial demon clan will definitely send someone to kill you. Shelter from the Cold, who was fighting against Tan Qingfeng, already had a ferocious expression on its face. It had originally descended to the heavenly realm to drink blood and slaughter. It hadn't expected to encounter 3 Divine King-level characters. Moreover, one of them was an upper Divine King. This was an existence it couldn't resist at all. At this point, on the extraterrestrial demon's side, only Ho Jun, who was fighting against the Divine King Zhuangqing, still had a slight advantage. Under the suppression of Tan Qingfeng and Fan Xianyun, the other cultivators and extraterrestrial demons didn't have the ability to fight back at all. What a reckless waste of natural resources. If only I had killed all of them. On the other side, Yi Shuang felt slightly envious when he saw the 2 God Kings kill the various outer realm celestial demons. This was because he was not the one who killed the celestial demons, so they would not turn into power of virtue and fly towards him. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow swallowed a few elixirs. After recovering his body's condition, he immediately activated the secret battle technique of the 33 heavens, instantly increasing his strength tenfold. When the 2 divine kings on the enemy side had no time to worry about him, he used the Green Peng soul-splitting roar that the divine king Zhuangqing had taught him. First roar shakes mountains and rivers. Second roar shatters heaven and earth. Third roar shatters reincarnation. Chapter 26-25. If he could kill a few of them, the amount of power of merit he would gain would definitely be considerable. When he was threatened by Ho Jun's evil bronze cauldron, Night Sorrow realized that he was too weak. He had to increase his strength as soon as possible. Otherwise, there was a possibility of him dying in the battle against the extraterrestrial demons. After all, the divine king of the extraterrestrial demons did not care if Night Sorrow was a high god. They were purely bloodthirsty and could devour any deity realm cultivator. It's effective. Very good. Looks like my casual roar must have killed 2 deity realm extraterrestrial demons. After using the green rock soul-splitting roar, Night Sorrow soon saw 2 extremely powerful golden power of merit rushing toward him. He absorbed the 2 power of merit and felt very comfortable. It was similar to the feeling of being baptized by the origin source of the Cloud Fairy continent. Night Sorrow, be careful of the enemy's attack. Just as Night Sorrow was distracted for a moment, Tan Qingfeng's voice suddenly sounded. Night Sorrow was shocked. He opened the sea serpent's eye and realized that 3 invisible Sir God-level extraterrestrial demons were creeping toward him while he was immersed in absorbing the power of merit. If Night Sorrow had not opened the sea serpent's eye, he would not have been able to see these invisible extraterrestrial demons. Tan Qingfeng had been using the power of his god's soul to cover Night Sorrow during the battle. Therefore, he could tell that the extraterrestrial demons were coming from the energy waves in the air. Thank you, Sect Leader Tan. I can handle these 3 Godlord level otherworldly demons myself. You can just focus on dealing with that God King level otherworldly demon. Although Night Sorrow used to hate Tan Qingfeng, he felt that although this guy's character was not good, he was not careless at all. After thanking him, Night Sorrow looked at the 3 extraterrestrial demons creeping toward him. These 3 extraterrestrial demons had the strength of a high god and their auras were much stronger than ordinary deity realm cultivators. However, Night Sorrow, as the high god of merit, had a natural counter to these evil creatures. He was not afraid at all. Inferno demon subduing. Using the sea serpent's eye to determine the figures of the 3 otherworldly demons, Night Sorrow immediately used blazing flame subduing demons. After being burned by the flames, the 3 extraterrestrial demons completely revealed themselves. Night Sorrow, let me help you. At this moment, Lu Qingyuan, who was fighting with the other divine lords, finally noticed that an extraterrestrial demon had crept up to Night Sorrow. He shouted and prepared to rescue him. At this moment, Night Sorrow stopped him. Elder Lu, don't worry. I can deal with these 3 heavenly demons myself. What? You're preparing to deal with 3 high-level divine lord-level otherworldly demons by yourself? Are you sure? Upon hearing Knight Soro's words, Lu Qingyuan was immediately taken aback. He felt immense pressure when dealing with otherworldly demons of the same level. He felt that otherworldly demons of the same level seemed to be stronger than divine world cultivators of the same level. Knight Soro actually wanted to deal with 3 high-level divine lord-level otherworldly demons as a middle-level high god. This made him feel that Knight Soro was risking his life. Elder Lu, Knight Soro is not a reckless person. These evil creatures don't pose much of a threat to me. 3 otherworldly demons sneaking into our camp is completely an opportunity for me to increase my strength. After explaining, Knight Soro held the heavenly samsara halberd horizontally in front of him and struck out with unstoppable thunderbolt at one of the high-level divine lord-level otherworldly demons. Although this unstoppable thunderbolt was mainly of the samsara attribute, it contained a trace of the power of thunder and was extremely effective against evil creatures like otherworldly demons. The high-level divine lord-level otherworldly demon that Knight Soro had locked onto instinctively wanted to dodge in the face of unstoppable thunderbolt. However, at this moment, Knight Soro used the merit dragon locking formation and immediately trapped it inside. Accompanied by a rumbling sound, the heavenly samsara halberd struck out with unstoppable thunderbolt and blasted into the sealed space. The otherworldly demon that was trapped in the sealed space by the power of merit had been constantly purified and its strength had clearly decreased significantly. How could it still have the ability to resist unstoppable thunderbolt? It was instantly smashed into pieces. However, the high-level divine lord-level otherworldly demon's vitality was extremely tenacious. Although it was smashed into pieces by the heavenly samsara halberd, this otherworldly demon did not turn into the power of merit and was not completely dead. Samsara strike. Seeing that this otherworldly demon was not completely dead, the other 2 had already launched attacks at him. Yishang immediately used the samsara heavenly halberd to strike the samsara strike into the sealed space. The extraterrestrial demons in the trapping formation were instantly annihilated by the samsara strike. They turned into golden power of merit and flew towards Yishang. Demon Envoy Ho Jun, today, I must definitely kill this cultivator with the power of merit. If I don't get rid of him, he will definitely become a huge threat to my heavenly demon clan in the future. Seeing that Knight Soro had actually managed to kill a high-level divine lord-level otherworldly demon with the strength of a mid-level divine god in a 1-on-3 situation, Knight Soro's cold eyes flashed with cold light. The divine king-level otherworldly demon Shelter from the Cold, who was fighting against Tan Qingfeng, said savagely, "Use your secret technique and help me hold off this high-level divine king for a moment. I have my own ways to deal with that god-level ant." "All right. I'll try my best." Hearing Shelter from the Cold's telepathic message, Ho Jun glanced at Knight Soro and then took out the evil bronze cauldron from his spatial artifact. This evil bronze cauldron was after all a king-level divine artifact. Although it was unrealistic to use it to kill Tan Qingfeng, it could still be useful if it was just to trap him for a moment or 2. Oh no. They want to deal with me. When Ho Jun glanced at Knight Soro, he suddenly felt as if his body had fallen into an ice cave. He had a very bad feeling about this. "Don't worry. Knight Soro, my young friend, I will protect you. Just focus on the battle." As Knight Soro felt as if he had fallen into an ice cave, Fan Xianyun suddenly sent him a telepathic message, telling him not to panic and to continue the battle. In the battle just now, Fan Xianyun had not attacked Ho Jun or Shelter from the Cold because he was waiting for an opportunity. At this moment, he could see that Ho Jun and Shelter from the Cold were plotting something and wanted to deal with Knight Soro. Thinking that this was a good opportunity, he secretly took out a long flute from his spatial artifact. Although it was a flute-shaped king-level divine artifact, it looked similar to a dagger and gave off a sharp, cold aura. "Thank you very much for your care, Grand Elder Fan." The people of Tianqin Gate had taken good care of him, so Knight Soro had basically erased his past unhappiness. After all, the extraterrestrial demons were now the real enemies of the heavenly realm. He had no reason to stay in the past and be unable to extricate himself. After replying to Fan Xianyun, Knight Soro continued to fight against the other 2 extraterrestrial demons at the level of a senior deity. With the experience of dealing with the first one, Knight Sorrow fought against the other two. Although it was dangerous, he handled every part of the battle perfectly. With the help of the eye of the Mirage Dragon, he was able to turn danger into safety every time. The two extraterrestrial demons that faced Knight Sorrow's attacks were quickly injured. Just as Knight Sorrow used the virtuous dragon-locking spell to bind one of the extraterrestrial demons, he finally killed it. A cold smile suddenly appeared on Ho Jun's face. He controlled the evil bronze cauldron and blasted it toward Tan Qingfeng, who was fighting shelter from the cold. Chapter 26-26. In order to successfully kill Knight Sorrow, Ho Jun and Shelter from the Cold chose to detonate their king-level divine artifacts. Tan Qingfeng did not expect this kind of decisiveness at all. He was careless and was hit by the explosion of the divine artifacts and suffered serious injuries. Good chance. Seeing that Tan Qingfeng was injured by Ho Jun's evil bronze cauldron, the divine king-level Shelter from the Cold immediately broke free from Tan Qingfeng's restraints and turned into a wisp of green smoke, attacking Knight Sorrow's position. The wisp of green smoke that it turned into had a very strong evil aura. It went straight for Knight Sorrow's spirit ocean. How dare you, evil spirit! In a situation of 2 against 3, you dare to attack a low-level cultivator of Yunxian continent. You brought this upon yourself. At this moment, the Grand Elder of Tianqing Gate, Fan Xianyun, used the flute in his hand like a long sword and chopped at the green smoke that Shelter from the Cold had turned into. When Shelter from the Cold, which had been ignoring Fan Xianyun, realized that he had prepared this attack, it was too late to dodge. It was immediately cut in half at the waist. Although the life force of a God King level otherworldly demon was extremely tenacious, and they could still recover after being cut in half, it was simply impossible for them to recover in a short period of time after suffering such heavy injuries in battle. Haha. You went for wool and came home shorn. Seeing Shelter from the Cold being cut in half by Fan Xianyun's sword and then the two of them fighting, Knight Sorrow revealed a trace of a cold smile. He continued to attack the other 2 extraterrestrial demons that had ambushed him. Soon, he used the Samsara strike to kill another one and absorb all the power of virtue it turned into. Just give up and let yourself be captured. You evil creatures shouldn't have come to the heavenly realm to make trouble. Facing the last upper-level Divine Lord-level extraterrestrial demon, Knight Sorrow, who had already successfully killed 2 of them, easily took control of the situation. After continuously suppressing Knight Sorrow, this otherworldly demon chose to self-detonate at the final moment. However, the power of virtue was still absorbed by Knight Sorrow. Knight Sorrow felt that his power of merit had reached the pinnacle of the middle high celestial realm after absorbing the power of merit from 3 high celestial realm heavenly demons. All he needed was an opportunity for his power of merit to advance to the upper high celestial realm. After becoming a high deity, Knight Sorrow's cultivation did not slow down in the slightest compared to when he was in the Feather God realm. Instead, it increased slightly. If Si Kongxiang and the others were to know about this, they would definitely be filled with envy and jealousy. Damn it! We have no chance of winning today. Demon Envoy Ho Jun chose to break out of the encirclement. Don't worry about the others, as long as you and I can escape from here. Shelter from the Cold, whose body had been cut in half by Fan Xianyun, realized that they had no chance of victory. They immediately sent a telepathic message to Ho Jun. At the same time, they ordered, all heavenly demons, listen to my command and self-detonate. The remaining 30 or 40 high celestial demons all chose to self-detonate upon receiving Shelter from the Cold's command. Although the self-detonation of so many high celestial demons was not much of a threat to the 3 divine kings, it was a devastating blow to the high celestials. Xianyun, Zhuangqing, you 2 try to save as many people as you can. I'll keep the 2 big ones here. Tan Qingfeng, who had just been injured by the evil bronze cauldron, was holding back his anger. He spoke to Fan Xianyun and Zhuangqing, then chased after Shelter from the Cold and Ho Jun, who had broken through the formation and escaped. Fan Xianyun and Zhuangqing, the 2 divine kings, did their best to protect the cultivators of the 2 sections. Virtuous Dragonlock Formation. At this moment, seeing that Shelter from the Cold and Ho Jun were trying to escape, Night Sorrow immediately chased after them and cast the virtuous Dragonlock formation, locking the two of them within. Although the virtuous Dragonlock formation could be broken by the two divine kings with a wave of their hands, it still delayed their movements. Moreover, the moment the two of them broke through the formation, Night Sorrow, who had chased after them, once again cast the Dragonlock formation formed by the power of virtue and primordial spirit, trapping Ho Jun within once again. The moment Ho Jun broke through the formation, Night Sorrow attacked once again. He trapped Ho Jun 5 times in a row. After being trapped by the Dragonlock formation 5 times in a row, Ho Jun was caught up by Tan Qingfeng in an instant. Scum of Yunxian continent. You didn't expect that you would be stopped by a high celestial. There is only one outcome waiting for you, and that is the destruction of your divine soul. Shelter from the Cold definitely couldn't catch up. Tan Qingfeng, who was blocking Ho Jun, completely exploded. Night Sorrow. You have the power of virtue, and the important figures of the heavenly demon army won't let you off. When the army breaks through the seal and descends upon Yunxian continent, it will be the time of your death. Ho Jun, who was being suppressed by Tan Qingfeng, couldn't escape at all. He roared at Night Sorrow. During the battle, Night Sorrow constantly used the power of virtue to purify the evil aura on his body, causing his strength to continuously decrease. This made Tan Qingfeng feel unusually relaxed during the battle. You clearly have a prominent position in Tianyun School, but you insist on joining the evil heavenly demon camp. One day, you will understand what a laughable choice this is. Night Sorrow coldly scolded Ho Jun, who had completely lost the ability to resist. He looked at Tan Qingfeng and said, "Sect leader Tan, we know nothing about the extraterrestrial demons. We can't kill Ho Jun for now. You control him and interrogate him properly. That's how it should be. As the Divine King, and also known as the Demon Envoy, he should have a certain status. We should be able to dig out a lot of information from him." Tan Qingfeng nodded and said. He was very angry after being injured by the explosion, but he suppressed his anger and didn't directly kill Ho Jun. After controlling Ho Jun, Night Sorrow and Tan Qingfeng flew back to the location where the heavenly demon self-detonated and checked on the injured. In the battle just now, only the Divine King of Shelter from the Cold escaped from the heavenly demon camp. Ho Jun was captured, and the rest of the cultivators and heavenly demons were all destroyed. The cultivators of Tianyun School and Tianqing Gates suffered negligible losses compared to the heavenly demons. Good. We fought beautifully in this battle. Many cultivators of Tianyun School were injured, but not many died. Zhuangqing, the Divine King, was very happy. He saluted Tan Qingfeng and Fan Xianyun and said gratefully, "This time, I have to thank Tianqing Gate for their help. Otherwise, Tianyun School would have suffered a great loss today." "Don't mention it, Grand Elder Zhuang. Fighting against the extraterrestrial demons is the duty of the cultivators of the heavenly realm." Tan Qingfeng politely bowed back and said, "Yishang, my young friend, you are a great threat to the sky demon. Tianyun School must protect him. We can't give him any chance." "Of course." Divine King Zhuangqing replied and continued, "Actually, having Night Sorrow is not only a blessing for Tianyun School, but also for the entire Yunxian continent. As long as he can grow, no heavenly demon will be a threat to the heavenly realm." "That's right. Let us witness his rise with our own eyes." Tan Qingfeng looked at Night Sorrow and said, "If nothing unexpected happens, his future achievements will far surpass yours and mine." "Haha, of course. After all, he has the bearing of a ruler." Divine King Zhuangqing laughed. "You are right. Night Sorrow has the bearing of a ruler, but his future will be completely cut off today." At this moment, Shunhan, who had already escaped, suddenly appeared beside Yishang. He waved his hand and attacked. Shelter from the Cold had returned. This was something no one had expected. Chapter 26-27. Oh no. Protect Night Sorrow. Zhuangqing and the Divine King shouted anxiously when they realized that the Divine King-level extraterrestrial demon had returned and appeared beside Night Sorrow. However, even Tan Qingfeng, who was closest to Night Sorrow, was not as close as Shelter from the Cold. Although Tan Qingfeng and Fan Xianyan truly cared about Yi Shang's safety, they were too far away to help. It was too late for them to help. Ha ha ha. It's too late to protect him. Shelter from the Cold laughed coldly when it saw the situation in front of it and struck out with its palm. Because there were 3 God Kings by his side, the palm strike he unleashed was not an absolute art. A strike from the Divine King. Fortunately, it's not a secret technique. When Shelter from the Cold struck out with its palm strike, the expressions of Zhuangqing, the Divine King, Tan Qingfeng, and Fan Xianyan all changed greatly. In their opinion, no matter how gifted Night Sorrow was, he was only a great deity after all. It was impossible for him to take a strike from the Divine King. However, Night Sorrow did not give up in the face of such a strike. He immediately activated the 33 Heavens Battle secret technique and used the virtuous dragon-locking formation to lock Shelter from the Cold and temporarily slow it down. Meanwhile, he used the Void Extreme Shadow Body to escape through the void. Although the Divine King's strike could lock onto its target, Night Sorrow, who had the eye of the sea serpent, could completely determine the trajectory of this strike. When he used the Samsara halberd to strike with the Samsara strike, it happened to collide with the weakest point of the opponent's energy. How dare a great deity and take a strike from me? Do you think you can defy the heavens? Shelter from the Cold showed a look of disdain when it saw that Night Sorrow had chosen to use the Samsara halberd to meet it head-on. In its eyes, no matter how strong the exalted god was, he was just an ant. Zhuangqing, Tan Qingfeng, and Fan Xianyan, who were too far away to help, also felt the same way. Even though they had high hopes for Night Sorrow, they did not think that a great god could withstand the sneak attack of the Middle Divine King. This was common sense, and no one could go against it. Not even the hegemon had been able to do this in his youth. Boom! When Night Sorrow's Samsara halberd collided with Shelter from the Cold's technique, a majestic force instantly crushed the aura of the Samsara halberd. Although Night Sorrow had the advantage in terms of attributes, the difference in strength between the two was simply too great. Am I really going to die under its sneak attack? Feeling the boundless power of the Divine King's attack, Night Sorrow felt as if he were a boat in the middle of a vast ocean, unable to withstand the impact of the waves. Hee, I'll tell you responsibly. You will die under this palm, and no one in the world will be able to save you. As if it knew what Night Sorrow was thinking, Shelter from the Cold laughed coldly. Its laughter was so cold that it made people shudder. No one can save him, but I can. When Shelter from the Cold's Divine King's energy was about to devour Night Sorrow, Zhuangqing, the Divine King, Tan Qingfeng, and Fan Xianyan's expressions changed drastically. A disdainful voice suddenly sounded from the Samsara halberd. Then, a huge phoenix rushed out from the Samsara halberd and burned away all of the Divine King's energy that Shelter from the Cold had shot out. Then, the phoenix continued to burn towards it. Who are you? The moment the huge phoenix appeared, Shelter from the Cold was stunned. Its aura was not only powerful, but it also contained the smell of the origin and the power of the hegemon. Shelter from the Cold couldn't help but tremble. I'm not human. But I'll kill anyone who tries to harm Night Sorrow. The huge phoenix that rushed out from the Samsara halberd let out a vast phoenix cry as it flapped its wings. Its aura was as if it could split the heavens and earth apart. You're the ancestral phoenix. Feeling the terrifying aura of the golden phoenix, Shelter from the Cold immediately panicked. From the other party's aura, it could tell that something was wrong. Because only the ancestral phoenix, which had long disappeared in the long river of history, had the unparalleled power of the hegemon. Yes, but also no. But you evil spirit will definitely be burned to the ground. The huge golden phoenix dispersed Shelter from the Cold's Divine King's energy. Its aura shook the heavens and the earth, and it instantly killed Shelter from the Cold. Shelter from the Cold, a mid-level Divine King, was killed in one move. Not only were Zhuangqing, the Divine King, and the others extremely surprised, even Night Sorrow himself was astonished. Night Sorrow hurriedly said, "Senior, thank you for saving my life. Are you the ancestral phoenix?" "I'm a feather of the ancestral phoenix, but not an ordinary feather. I stayed in the realm of the gods to find you." After killing shelter from the cold, the ancestral phoenix feather transformed into a human, but its face was extremely blurry, and it was impossible to tell whether it was a man or a woman. "You stayed in the realm of the gods to find me? What do you mean?" Night Sorrow also asked after hearing the ancestral phoenix feather's voice transmission. The other party chose to use voice transmission because some things were not suitable for others to hear, and he chose to cooperate. "My original body is fighting in another realm. Actually, it's not just me. The supremes of the realm of the gods are all fighting there to protect the realm of the gods and prevent the experts of other realms from having the opportunity to tear through the void and slaughter the realm of the gods." The ancestral phoenix feather replied to Night Sorrow, "That realm is called the Eternal Supreme's realm. It connects all realms in the world, and there are unimaginably strong enemies there. Even if the realm of the gods has several supremes, it's still difficult to resist them. We urgently need new blood to join us. You're exactly what we need. But I'm just a high god, and I don't have the ability to help you." Night Sorrow felt his blood boil when he heard the ancestral phoenix feather's words, but he felt that there was nothing he could do to help. The realm of the gods had existed for so long, and it was not that there were no supremes, but that they had already gone to the Eternal Supreme's realm to fight. It was because of their protection that the realm of the gods could be peaceful. "You are indeed very weak now, but I can see the potential of a supremacy in you. As long as you grow up normally, you will become a supremacy one day, or even an existence that surpasses supremacy." The ancestral phoenix feather continued to transmit its voice to Night Sorrow. After saying this, it might be afraid that Night Sorrow's Tao heart would be unstable, so it continued, "In fact, even in the Eternal Supreme's realm, there are not only supremes. As long as you break through to the Divine King level, you will be able to hold your own. I see, Night Sorrow will cultivate to the Divine King level as soon as possible, and fight for the realm of the gods in the Eternal Supreme's realm." Night Sorrow cultivated the power of merit, so he could feel that the ancestral phoenix feather's words were not false at all. Moreover, its words were filled with a kind of powerless sorrow. Clearly, the supremes of the realm of the gods were under greater pressure in the Eternal Supreme's realm. "I am very gratified that you have such intentions." The ancestral phoenix feather's figure smiled and nodded. "One day, you will be stronger than anyone else." This was divined by another lord at the cost of 300 cycles of his lifespan. Thank you all for your appreciation. Night Sorrow will work hard to advance. But Lord Ancestral Phoenix, since there are several supremes in the realm of the gods, why don't we destroy the ethereal mountain and the dark forest's extraterrestrial demons? Night Sorrow asked, puzzled. The extraterrestrial demons had always been the realm of the gods' greatest enemy. Chapter 26-28. Of course, we have the ability to directly kill the extraterrestrial demons. The ancestral phoenix smiled and said, but do you know that the extraterrestrial demons were originally caught by us from the eternal supreme realm? Our purpose is to train our descendants. If the god realm is always peaceful, although it can continue to produce rulers, it will never be able to produce supreme beings. What? The extraterrestrial demons were caught by you from the eternal supreme realm? Hearing this, Night Sorrow suddenly felt a little incredulous. It turned out that the extraterrestrial demons that terrified people in the god realm were the training partners that the supremes of the god realm had found for their descendants. The extraterrestrial demons are ranked very low among the many races of the eternal supreme realm. If the cultivators of the god realm can't even fight against them, it means that the god realm is not far from destruction. The ancestral phoenix explained and sighed, the battlefield of the eternal supreme realm can't only be supported by us old fellows. We need to inject new blood. But I found you a little early. With Night Sorrow's current strength, I really can't help you. Night Sorrow was still very respectful to a predecessor like the ancestral phoenix. He lamented that his strength was not enough to help the supremes. It's okay. You can cultivate normally. When you reach the Divine King realm, my true body will personally come to receive you. The ancestral phoenix said to Night Sorrow in a casual tone and continued, I have a secret technique here. When you reach the Divine King realm, learn it immediately. Your future path is very important. Whether it is the God realm or the battlefield of the eternal supreme realm, you are an indispensable existence. He had to master this secret technique. Otherwise, you will be too busy. Night Sorrow will remember. Night Sorrow nodded. Supreme Phoenix Ancestor's words today had given him a hint of enlightenment. It was a feeling of being enlightened. It broadened his horizons further. Before this, Night Sorrow's gaze was fixed on the God realm like a frog at the bottom of a well. After broadening his horizons, the situation immediately changed. The heart of invincibility also rose. Just be yourself. Remember my words, your future is extremely precious, and you won't even have the chance to accompany your family. Before I become the Divine King, I must accompany my family. Supreme Phoenix Ancestor said in a serious tone, before continuing, the person who performed the divination for you said that it's very likely that you'll have a wife and children in the future. Don't underestimate this matter. This is a major event that can affect the future. This made Night Sorrow speechless. He didn't reply immediately. Supreme Ancestor Phoenix smiled and said, if you do, the burden on your shoulders will be much lighter. If there are no accidents, Night Sorrow may not have any more children. No matter what lies ahead of me, I, Night Sorrow, will face it on my own. Night Sorrow already had so many wives, and he had a lot of responsibilities, so he didn't want to continue dabbling in this area. Alright, the choice is yours. Some people's destinies are created by themselves, transcending the rules of the heavenly Tao. Supreme Phoenix Ancestor smiled and said, there's a map here, and it's my Tao grounds from all those years ago. Help me find 2 or 3 suitable successors to head there with me. As for who will obtain the fortune, it will completely depend on their own fortune. What are the requirements for the candidates? Night Sorrow asked. He immediately thought of Wu Lingfei and Jing Yun. Both of their bloodlines were related to the Phoenix. Moreover, Wu Lingfei's most important goal in coming to the God realm was to find the Phoenix ancestral grounds. You can choose your own candidates, but there are some dangers in my training ground. You'll have to complete this after reaching the Divine Sovereign realm. After saying this, Ancestor Phoenix Ancestor said, the energy in this feather of mine has been exhausted. The next time we meet will be when you become the Divine King. We'll meet again someday. When these words appeared in Yishang's mind, the ancestral phoenix feather, which had exhausted all its energy, completely disappeared from the world. Recalling every word the ancestral phoenix supreme being had said, Night Sorrow couldn't calm down. It took him quite a while to digest everything. Night Sorrow, are you okay? Who was that? Could it be the legendary ancestor phoenix? Tan Qingfeng immediately asked after Supreme Ancestor Phoenix disappeared. I'm fine, Sect Leader Tan. Night Sorrow reported that he was safe and continued, just now, it was one of Ancestor Phoenix's feathers. In order to save me, it had used up all of its energy. Yishang, as expected, you have great achievements and are protected by your predecessors. Tan Qingfeng could not help but sigh ruefully as he watched Night Sorrow survive shelter from the cold's ambush. This was because if Night Sorrow wasn't a person of great fortune, he would have been completely annihilated by that attack. He would have completely fallen in the river of history. Night Sorrow was lucky enough to obtain a feather from Ancestor Phoenix in the Immortal Cloud sealed realm. Night Sorrow didn't want to dwell too much on this matter, because saying too much would bring karma to the 3 people in front of him. What he meant was that he should shoulder everything by himself. Thinking of Supreme Ancestor Phoenix's words, Night Sorrow missed his family and said, Seniors, let's hurry back to Tianyun School as soon as possible and deal with this matter before heading to Soaring Heaven Sect. Now that the heavenly demons are so rampant, they might harm the other sections. We must pay attention to the matter of the heavenly demons. Divine King Zhuangqing nodded and said. He then looked at Tan Qingfeng and said, Sect Leader Tan, it's best to inform the other sects as soon as possible about the ambush of the heavenly demons and let them be on guard. Naturally, I have already informed Vice Sect Leader Liang and asked her to inform the other sections. Tan Qingfeng responded and said, now that the crisis has been resolved, let's immediately head to Tianyun School. After we arrive, we will discuss countermeasures. Now that the heavenly demons are so rampant, if our sects are too weak, I'm afraid they will take advantage of the situation and invade. This is a big problem. We can fight, but our rear defenses must be stable. Divine King Zhuangqing nodded. At the same time, he began to drive the heavenly cloud shuttle and quickly flew towards Tianyun School. Compared to the other 5 sects, Tianyun School didn't have a strong foundation because the sect leader wasn't there. Its overall strength was the weakest. Their rear defenses were the most difficult to deal with. After returning to Tianyun School, Divine King Zhuangqing took Tan Qingfeng and the others to see Vice Sect Leader Yuan Tianji. Knight Sorrow, on the other hand, rushed back to his family's residence. The first to see Knight Sorrow return was Sikong Chuyu and Jing Yun, who were drinking tea in the bamboo forest. Jing Yun was learning the way of tea from Sikong Chuyu. Seeing Knight Sorrow return, Sikong Chuyu immediately stood up and said, "Husband, you're back. How were the results of the 7-sect tournament?" Although she felt that asking Knight Sorrow these things directly was not intimate enough, she couldn't resist her curiosity. Hee. Not bad. 4th in the Feather God group and 1st in the High God group. As for the sect's results, Tianyun School took 1st place in both the Feather God and High God groups. Chapter 26-29. 1st place in the deity group. You become a deity and won 1st place in the deity group? Sikong Chuyu asked in disbelief after hearing Knight Sorrow's words. Yes. I'm a mid-level deity now. Knight Sorrow explained with a smile. He greeted Jing Yun and asked, where are the others? The others are cultivating in the Space Dharma artifact. Ever since you left, everyone has been cultivating very hard. I think that in the near future, the entire Night Moon clan will break through to the deity realm. Sikong Chuyu smiled and said, you and Jing Yun can chat first. I'll call the others out. With that, she happily went into the Space Dharma artifact to look for the others. Knight Sorrow had led the Tianyun School to such a good result in the 7-sect tournament. As his wife, she felt proud. Otherwise, she would feel guilty if she continued to eat and use the Tianyun School's food. Knight Sorrow, congratulations on becoming a deity. You should be much stronger than me now, right? Jing Yun, who was already a low-level divine lord, smiled and congratulated him. At this moment, she couldn't see through Knight Sorrow's aura. It felt like a mysterious veil was covering him. I'm not sure, but we'll never be on the opposite side. There's no need to worry about this. Knight Sorrow smiled and replied, also, I've obtained a very good opportunity. I'll bring the 2 of you when I welcome a relative back. What opportunity? Jing Yun asked curiously. In fact, she had been with Knight Sorrow's family for so many days. Jing Yun, whose clan had been destroyed, was envious of Knight Sorrow's peaceful life with his family. She wasn't interested in opportunities. I'll keep you in suspense, but it's definitely an opportunity that will tempt you. Knight Sorrow explained with a smile. He was afraid that saying it would make Jing Yun's Dao heart unstable. Not everyone could face the dojo left behind by a sovereign with peace of mind. Haha. An opportunity that tempts me? Are you sure? Jing Yun looked into Knight Sorrow's eyes and asked with a smile. Her words were obviously mixed with a complicated meaning. However, Knight Sorrow didn't notice any of this. He replied with certainty, this opportunity will tempt anyone in the God realm. However, it will only belong to you and that relative of mine. Knight Sorrow then told Jing Yun about Wu Ling concubine. Jing Yun, who had already heard of the story of the dancing spirit concubine, heard it from Knight Sorrow himself, and her eyes were instantly filled with tears. Weeping Beauty said, Knight Sorrow, you must not disappoint Auntie Fei. No matter how big the matter is, you must save her first before doing it. Yes. I will consider this matter carefully. Night Sorrow nodded and explained, currently, Senior Tianqing is helping me contact this matter. I'm waiting for her news. As long as there is news from her side, even if it's a big matter, I will postpone it. To Night Sorrow, saving Wu Ling concubine was even more important than protecting the God realm. He naturally wouldn't delay it because of anything else. Yes. Night Sorrow, you are a person who values relationships. I believe you will not let down anyone around you. Jing Yun smiled and looked at Night Sorrow's wife and daughter who were walking over. She said, you can catch up with your family. I have already joined Tianyun school and have become a divine king seed. I have my own cultivation mountain. Hee, congratulations then. I'll visit you some other day. Night Sorrow said politely and walked towards Lin Piaomiao, who had walked out first. He asked, Sister Xian, how do you feel? Are there any abnormalities after your recovery? There's nothing wrong with my body. Furthermore, I seem to be very suitable for cultivation in the God realm. Lin Piaomiao smiled and said, I am already a middle-level feather god, and my cultivation is very solid. Your cultivation is indeed very solid. Night Sorrow used the eye of the sea serpent to observe Lin Piaomiao and found that her cultivation was indeed very solid. The density of her aura was almost on par with his at the same time. After thinking for a while, he asked doubtfully, Sister Xian, could it be that some hidden bloodline in you has been awakened? Logically speaking, although your cultivation talent is very good, there is still a certain gap between you and me. Why does it seem that you are about the same as me at the same time? When they were in the celestial realm, Night Sorrow had already surpassed Lin Piaomiao. Now, he found that her talent had actually changed. This kind of joyous change made him somewhat unable to understand. I'm not sure either. Why don't you help me check my bloodline? Lin Piaomiao said with a smile. All right. Let's go check now. For things like bloodlines, suddenly awakening was definitely a good thing. But sometimes, it was accompanied by some danger. Night Sorrow exchanged some pleasantries with the other family members and walked into the room with Lin Piaomiao to check her bloodline. After checking carefully, Night Sorrow said in surprise, Sister Xian, if I didn't guess wrongly, you might be the descendant of a supreme being. What? Descendant of a supreme being? Hearing this, Lin Piaomiao was obviously stunned. Yes. I just came into contact with a supreme being. The bloodline aura in your body is very similar to that supreme being's aura. Night Sorrow said. Lin Piaomiao's newly awakened bloodline obviously contained the aura of a supreme being. This made him very surprised. Supreme being. A supreme being that is even stronger than a ruler? Lin Piaomiao asked in disbelief. In the current divine world, the strongest were the 7 rulers. Her bloodline might actually come from a supreme being that was even stronger than a ruler. Even though Lin Piaomiao was very knowledgeable and mentally strong, she was still stunned. If it was in the past, I wouldn't be sure what bloodline Sister Xian had awakened. But I just came into contact with a supreme being and I know very well what this aura means. Night Sorrow said and slowly told Lin Piaomiao all the information he got from Ancestor Phoenix. Hearing Night Sorrow's words, Lin Piaomiao was stunned for a moment. Then, she said with determination, Husband, no matter what, our family will shoulder the future responsibilities together. I'm not afraid of shouldering the entire divine world. I'm just afraid that I won't have time to accompany you. Lin Piaomiao's words warmed Night Sorrow's heart. He softly expressed his worries. If there were no accidents, after he advanced to the Divine King realm, he would disappear for a very long time. Actually, it's fine. Your family naturally wants to be by your side, but they definitely won't be a burden to you. Moreover, there is no time in the divine world. Everyone's lifespan is endless. Even if you spend more time doing other things, there will be a day when you can spend more time with your family. Lin Piaomiao said gently. Hearing Sister Xian's words, my mood is much better. Night Sorrow's face revealed a trace of determination. He said, Sister Xian, don't worry. If there is a day when I leave, I will create a pure land for my family in advance. A pure land that no one dares to invade. It is the same kind of existence as a ruler's territory. Sister Xian believes in you. Lin Piaomiao smiled and said, let's go out. They should have prepared a banquet. After the banquet, there are still some things waiting for you. What things? Night Sorrow asked, puzzled. Chapter 26:30. I'm not sure. Sister Xian, what's the matter? Night Sorrow chased out of the room and asked. He had participated in the 7-sect tournament and hadn't returned for a long time. Naturally, he didn't know what his wives were planning. Lin Piaomiao didn't reveal anything and said, you will know after the banquet. This. All right then. Night Sorrow nodded and said, let's not talk about this anymore. Sister Xian's bloodline must be kept a secret. Even if the sovereigns knew about your bloodline, they might not be able to resist the urge to snatch it away. With our current strength, we can't stop the sovereigns from coveting it. I'm preparing to learn a secret technique to hide my bloodline, but I don't know where to get it. Lin Piaomiao said. There were many secret techniques to hide one's bloodline, but there were very few that could hide the sovereign bloodline. That's a problem. I'll ask Deputy Sect Leader Yuan tomorrow. Night Sorrow said and went to the bamboo forest to prepare the banquet with Lin Piaomiao. Sikong Chuyu, Yang Lei, Aoi, Shueshi, and Datura were all busy. The few girls, who had different personalities, were now enjoying the atmosphere. They were all talking and laughing. As for Night Sorrow's children, most of them had already chosen to enter the realm of the gods to train. They knew that if they continued to rely on their father, they would become dependent on him and it would be detrimental to their growth. 13. Not long after you left, Deputy Sect Leader Yuan moved out this mountain and gave it to us. Now, it's called Night Moon Mountain. Seeing Night Sorrow's arrival, Yang Lei said happily. In the world of cultivators, people rarely gathered together. A banquet like this was rarely held. Deputy Sect Leader Yuan is generous, but it's not good for us to take over his place like this. Under Yang Lei's lead, Night Sorrow sat on a bamboo chair and enjoyed the tea that had just been poured. There's nothing bad about it. Vice Headmaster Yuan has been increasing his strength recently. It is said that he is preparing to become the acting headmaster and end the situation of the Tianyun school. Yang Lei continued, so Vice Sect Leader Yuan has already moved to the main peak. This is a good thing. Now is an opportunity. Night Sorrow took a sip of tea and agreed with Yuan Tianji's approach. The disappearance of Tianyun School's overlord meant that someone else had to replace him. Now that Ho Jun's faction had basically been eliminated, it was a better choice for Yuan Tianji to become the acting overlord at this time. Even though the matter has already been decided, Vice Sect Head Yuan said that if one's strength isn't sufficient, he won't be the sect head. We still have to wait for a while. Yang Lei explained. She then smiled and said, Little 13, the banquet is over. There's something waiting for you. Are you ready? What is it? Night Sorrow almost spat out a mouthful of tea when he heard this. Lin Piaomiao said mysteriously. Now that it was Yang Lei's turn to say it, he had an ominous feeling. You'll know when the time comes. Sikong Chuyu, who happened to pass by, said with a smile. Anyway, it's a good thing. All right. A good thing. A good thing. Night Sorrow replied with a guilty conscience. Sikong Chuyu and Yang Lei laughed. Not long after, the few girls prepared a family banquet and invited most of the members of the Night Moon dynasty. Night Sorrow, who was drinking tea, stood up immediately when he saw his grandfather, Yi Linghuan. He asked, Grandpa, how are you feeling? Night Sorrow was very concerned about Yi Linghuan's recovery after his energy center was destroyed by Ling Yun previously. It's nothing serious, but I still feel a little indignant when I think about what happened back then. Yi Linghuan sat on the chair with a good complexion. He took a sip of tea and asked, "When do you plan to bring back your Auntie Fei?" "In the plan, as long as Senior Tianqing sends news, I'll go and rescue Auntie Fei immediately," Night Sorrow replied. "No. What you're doing is wrong." Yi Linghuan tapped the table and said, "Your Auntie Fei was severely injured while trying to save you. Her abduction is directly related to you. Your current strength has long surpassed Ling Yun's strength back then. This matter can't wait any longer. The men of the Yi family have an indomitable spirit. Rescuing your Auntie Fei has to be the top priority. Grandpa is right. It's Night Sorrow's fault." Night Sorrow bowed to his grandfather. He felt that the other party was right. He didn't do enough to rescue Auntie Fei. "It's great that you can correct your mistakes." Yi Linghuan nodded and said, "I'll remember this well. Also, after the banquet, there's something for you to deal with." "Grandpa, what are you talking about?" Hearing this, Yi Shang asked with a speechless expression. "Good. Do you think we'll harm you?" Yi Linghuan snorted coldly. "All right, I won't ask." After being mocked, Yi Shang shook his head and left with a smile. When most of the people from the Yi family arrived, he began to drink with everyone. Although the Night Moon dynasty hadn't been in the god realm for long, their strength had increased by leaps and bounds. Now, there were many feather gods. Even Night Sorrow's parents were half-step feather gods. This kind of increase in strength was incomparable in the lower realms. Seeing the rapid growth of his clansmen, Night Sorrow was in a good mood and drank a lot of wine. After the banquet, he felt a little tipsy. This was a feeling he hadn't felt in a long time. Lying on the bamboo chair, he enjoyed it very much. "Husband, how does it feel to have a family?" Datura, who was already a feather god, walked over and massaged Night Sorrow's shoulders. "That goes without saying." Yi Shang closed his eyes comfortably. After massaging his shoulders for a while, Datura continued, "I know you enjoy the atmosphere of a family. The sisters are all waiting for you in the room." Waiting for me? So that's what everyone was talking about. Hearing this, Night Sorrow smiled and thought, so they're preparing to spend the night together. This kind of opportunity to sleep together is rare, hee. At this moment, Datura gave off a seductive feeling, which made Night Sorrow feel a little strange. She used to be the master of a world and had a high and mighty temperament. Now that she was a little woman, the temptation was not small. "Shall we go now?" Datura asked with a playful expression. "Let's go," Night Sorrow said with a smile. "Even if there are 6 of you, I have nothing to fear. Let's all attack together." Along the way, Night Sorrow and Datura chatted and laughed, talking about some interesting things that happened when they met. Not long after, they arrived at the room where his wives were. As expected, Night Sorrow walked into the room and saw that his 5 wives were all wearing thin clothes. He immediately had a certain reaction. Some desires could not be severed just by increasing strength. If everyone was pure, the god realm would be very harmonious. "Come. Let's talk on the bed." Chapter 26:31. Haha. I'm coming. Hearing this, Yi Shang took off his blue phoenix battle armor and some of his undergarments, revealing his muscular body. Hee. Seeing Night Sorrow's anxious look, Aoi smiled and said, "What's the name of the armor you took off?" "The blue phoenix armor. Jing Yun gave it to me." Night Sorrow replied and walked to the bed. At this moment, Yang Lei snorted and said, "Let's talk while standing below." What's going on?" Night Sorrow asked in confusion. Weren't they going to sleep together? How could they sleep together while standing? "Do you know what's going on with the blue phoenix armor?" Yang Lei retracted the smile on her face and asked. "What's going on?" Night Sorrow asked in confusion. "Isn't the blue phoenix armor just a defensive equipment given by a friend? What's there to talk about?" The blue phoenix armor was made by Jing Yun using her own bloodline. Yang Lei sighed and said, "It's a defensive robe with spirituality. Whenever you're attacked, Jing Yun will help you take half of the damage. Do you know how much harm Jing Yun has suffered during your campaigns all these years?" "What? The blue phoenix armor? There's such a thing?" Hearing Yang Lei's words, Knight Sorrow's mind buzzed. He had experienced countless battles over the years and the blue phoenix armor had helped him take a lot of damage. If Jing Yun had to take half of the damage, then she must have been seriously injured. After all, his opponents were all very strong. You should have known that a battle armor made with bloodline power isn't that simple. Aoi shook her head and asked, "What are you going to do now?" Knight Sorrow was speechless and didn't know how to answer. Normally, when he was fighting outside, he was like a rock that couldn't be moved by anything. But now, it was completely different. "What about you? Tell me, what are you going to do to prevent Jing Yun from getting hurt?" Sikong Chuyu also opened her mouth. Her tone was not the same as her usual gentle tone. Meanwhile, Xueshi spoke in a gentle voice, "Jing Yun is truly too pitiful. Not only was her clan annihilated, she even suffered so much. What do you want me to do?" If Yi Shang still didn't understand what his wives were saying, then he would be too stupid. He opened his mouth and asked in return. "Marry Jing Yun back. She has already suffered enough. She needs the warmth of a family," Lin Piaomiao said calmly. I only need you guys." Regarding this matter, Knight Sorrow felt a little uneasy. He had a certain level of feelings for Jing Yun, but he felt that it wasn't to that extent. But Jing Yun's life is too hard. She needs her family's love and care. Datura looked at Knight Sorrow. "Although we don't want you to share your love with her, Jing Yun is worth our sacrifice." Back then, if it wasn't for Jing Yun guarding Night Moon Dynasty's residence, I'm afraid many of our people would have died in the Night Moon Dynasty. "What's going on?" Yi Shang asked fearfully when he heard this. "Did you really think that Night Moon Dynasty's life in the realm of the gods was smooth sailing when you left?" Sikong Chuyu's brows had a trace of seriousness. "Actually, it wasn't like that. If it wasn't for Jing Yun risking her life to protect me, I would have been abducted when I was in High Base City." "There's such a thing? When did this happen?" Knight Sorrow almost exploded when he heard this. He didn't know that such a thing had happened. The person who did evil has already been killed by Jing Yun. "I haven't told you about this matter. But today, I have to let you know everything." Sikong Chuyu said faintly. "Go and marry Jing Yun back." Knight Sorrow was still a little hesitant. He felt that his heart hadn't recovered yet. What about you?" "Little 13, let me tell you. During this period of time in the realm of the gods, Jing Yun has protected Night Moon Dynasty more than you." Yang Lei snorted and said, "If you don't marry her back, don't ever step into this house again. Get out. Is this what all of you mean?" Knight Sorrow raised his head and looked at the other girls. "There's no need to ask." Sikong Chuyu, Yang Lei, Aoi, Xueshi, Datura, and Lin Piaomiao said in unison. "All right. I'll go and find her. At least I won't let everyone down." Knight Sorrow put on the Azure Phoenix battle armor and walked out of the room. But not long after he walked out, Knight Sorrow turned back and asked, "Where is Jing Yun's mountain peak?" "It's not far from here. It's that one." Sikong Chu walked out of the room and flew into the air to guide Knight Sorrow. "Okay. I got it." Knight Sorrow nodded and flew directly to the mountain peak that the Tianyun school had given to Jing Yun. Now that things had developed like this, he didn't feel conflicted anymore. He was prepared to face his heart and marry Jing Yun. He still had a good impression of the gentle Jing Yun, but he didn't dare to face so many wives at home. Now that he thought about it, Jing Yun had done a lot for him. Just thinking about it made his heart ache. "They've already arranged the wedding procession for me?" Knight Sorrow, who was flying in the air, saw a long line at the bottom of the mountain peak as he approached Jing Yun's endless peak. This line was made up of thousands of people. Some were carrying the betrothal gifts, while others were carrying the bridal sedan. At first, Knight Sorrow thought that his wives had arranged it for him. But after seeing it clearly, his expression changed. In the line, there was a man wearing a red robe and riding a horse. He was obviously dressed as the groom. What's going on? Knight Sorrow released his divine soul power and scanned the man in red. He realized that he had a dignified appearance and was a middle-level godly lord. He was a talent. Jing Yun, marry me. I, Ning Tianan, will make you happy. Jing Yun, marry me. I, Ning Tianan, will make you happy. Jing Yun, marry me. I, Ning Tianan, will make you happy. At this moment, the man in red gathered his divine essence and shouted at the top of his lungs. So it's a proposal. Knight Sorrow, who was originally worried, calmed down immediately. When he saw the wedding procession, he was still worried that Jing Yun had already agreed to it. Ning Tianan, leave. I won't agree to it. Not long later, Jing Yun's slightly cold voice came from the endless peak. Ning Tianan smiled and said, Jing Yun, you still don't know, right? My grandfather is Grand Elder Ning Changhe, one of the most powerful people in Tianyun School. As long as you marry me, you can do whatever you want in Tianyun School in the future. I don't need this. Please leave. Jing Yun's voice came again. Ning Tianan's expression turned ugly when he heard this. He suppressed his anger and said, Jing Yun, I've been deeply mesmerized by you since the first time I saw you. Why don't you reconsider? My grandfather also agrees to our marriage. Chapter 2632. Ning Tianan's grandfather, Ning Changhe, was one of the two grand elders of Tianyun School. Since the Tianyun School's sect leader was missing, as the top fighter of Tianyun School, he was indeed very powerful and had a lot of say. Although Ning Tianan wasn't in the top 5 among the Divine King seeds of Tianyun School, his status was only second to the legendary Mu Baiyu because of his grandfather's power. A few days ago, at the ceremony where Jing Yun joined the Tianyun clan, Ning Tianan saw Jing Yun and had the intention to make her his. Hence, he proposed to her today. At this time, Jing Yun continued to reply coldly, please go back. I'm not close to you and don't know your grandfather. This matter will end here. Jing Yun, think about it again. This matter will only be beneficial to you and won't harm you at all. Ning Tianan led the bridal escort team and blocked the entrance of Endless Peak. He didn't seem to care and had no intention of leaving. I said I won't think about it. Please don't disturb my cultivation. Ning Tianan refused to leave shamelessly. Jing Yun's tone became heavier. Jing Yun, are you refusing a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit? Jing Yun's tone became heavier. Ning Tianan's face darkened completely. He roared, I also told you that you have to agree to today's matter even if you don't want to. You have no sense of shame. Jing Yun had a gentle personality, but she was still infuriated by Ning Tianan. So what if I have no sense of shame? My grandfather is the top fighter of Tianyun School. Even if I take you back by force, no one will dare to say anything. Ning Tianan shouted in disdain and ordered, since she doesn't want to give me face, attack and take her back by force. Ning Tianan, don't you care about the sect rules? Seeing that Ning Tianan was about to attack, Jing Yun scolded angrily. He had a few monarch gods under him. She wasn't confident in dealing with them. Sect rules? Sect rules? Those are just rules and regulations to restrain weak people like you. To me, those are nothing. Ning Tianan laughed arrogantly. Do you think that you can do whatever you want just because you have a grand elder as your grandfather? At this time, Knight Sorrow, who couldn't stand it anymore, slowly appeared and criticized Ning Tianan. Who are you? After being scolded, Ning Tianan looked angrily at Knight Sorrow. When he realized that it was the exalted god, he said in disdain, anyone can kill him. Also, the other Sir gods, follow me. Break the array formation of the endless peak and capture Jingyun. This young master wants to consummate his marriage tonight. Bridal chamber? You don't have to think about it anymore. The infuriated Knight Sorrow shouted coldly. Then, he took out his heavenly samsara halberd and charged towards Ning Tianan. Seeing Knight Sorrow appear, Jingyun, who was originally a little flustered, appeared from the endless peak. There was a hint of a smile on her face. Knight Sorrow's appearance at such a crucial moment warmed her heart. Ignorant ant, how dare you find trouble with this young master? No one in Tianyun school can save you. Facing Knight Sorrow's attack, Ning Tianan, who originally wanted the others to attack, shouted, "No one needs to attack. Leave this ant for me to vent my anger." Sky-piercing finger. Facing Knight Sorrow, Ning Tianan used his ultimate technique. To him, Ning Tianan was just an exalted god. He couldn't even last one round. Ignorant fool. Knight Sorrow used his heavenly samsara halberd to use the samsara strike and shattered the sky-piercing finger. Then, he attacked Ning Tianan's face. Oh no. Save the master. Seeing Knight Sorrow attack, the 5 or 6 Sir gods beside Ning Tianan all moved to block Knight Sorrow's attack. Get lost. Those who block me will die. Ning Tianan's actions had crossed Knight Sorrow's bottom line. Whether it was from Tianyun School's point of view or Jingyun's point of view, he wanted to kill Ning Tianan. Facing the obstruction of the Sir gods, Knight Sorrow used the Trayastrimsa Samsara secret technique and used the Roaring Flames demon subduing. At the same time, he used the third move of the Green Rock soul-splitting roar. Third roar shatters samsara. Once this roar was heard, the sky changed color. The Sir gods, including Ning Tianan, were all shaken to the core by the roar. Forbidden spear. While they were momentarily stunned, Knight Sorrow used his heavenly samsara halberd to attack. Just as Ning Tianan was about to dodge, he unleashed the divine essence dragon locking formation to bind him within. Oh no. Grandpa, save me. Grandpa, save me. Someone wants to kill me. Facing this attack, Ning Tianan felt that he had no ability to resist and immediately shouted. Who dares to hurt my grandson? Ning Tianan shouted. Elder Sang's voice immediately sounded from a corner of Tianyun School. Your grandson disregarded the rules of the sect and snatched the divine king's seed. He's already sentenced to death. Facing Ning Changhe, the #1 expert of Tianyun School, Knight Sorrow didn't have the slightest bit of fear. Ning Tianan was such a lawless person. He had to get rid of him today. Do you have any evidence for your words? Divine King Ning Changhe's voice sounded again. When he said this, his voice was extremely cold and contained a strong murderous intent. I saw it with my own eyes and heard it with my own ears. What evidence do I need? Knight Sorrow asked with a cold smile. Is that so? Then why don't you kill one for me to see? I'd like to see who dares to touch my family in front of me. Divine King Ning Changhe's voice was raised a few octaves, and it resounded throughout the entire Tianyun School. Little B** starred, continue to be arrogant and challenge me. With his grandpa backing him up, Ning Tianan instantly started to provoke him arrogantly. You don't have to be arrogant. Today, it won't be just you. Even your grandpa won't be kind. Knight Sorrow glared at Ning Tianan and looked in the direction of the voice. Your family is your family. Don't tell me that Knight Sorrow's family isn't your family. A faint smile appeared on Jing Yun's face when she heard Yi Shang call her family. However, she was worried that Knight Sorrow would challenge the Divine King because of her. Knight Sorrow? You're just an exalted god. Who do you think you are? Today, I'll kill an arrogant little guy like you. I'll show you the rules of Tianyun School. Ning Changhe's voice was getting closer. Before he arrived, he had already launched an attack in the direction of Knight Sorrow. Ha ha ha. Who told you to be arrogant? Let's see how you'll die. Seeing that the Divine King Ning Changhe was attacking Knight Sorrow, Ning Tianan revealed a sinister smile. See how I'll die? You guys should die instead. Night Sorrow sneered. He didn't even blink in the face of the Divine King's attack. Although Night Sorrow didn't move at all, Ning Changha's attack didn't even touch a strand of his hair. This was because the Divine King Zhuangqing, who had rushed over after hearing the commotion, had already made his move. The Divine King Zhuangqing, who had blocked Ning Changha's attack, scolded him coldly. Ning Changha, even if you were on the side of that scum Ho Jun, I wouldn't have any intention to kill you. However, you're seeking your own death by attacking Night Sorrow. Hee, who do you think you are? You're just a lower Divine King. How dare you stop me? Ning Changha, who was arrogant to a certain extent, didn't care about Night Sorrow at all. He didn't even care about the Divine King Zhuangqing at all. Ning Changha, there's a saying that goes, you reap what you sow. Originally, I wanted to spare your life in order to preserve the strength of Tianyun School. However, it seems like you have no intention of living. Chapter 2633. In fact, Yuan Tianji was already a Divine King long ago. He had just been enduring it and pretending to be a half-step Divine King. Today, he felt confident that he could defeat all of Ho Jun's people. Hence, he displayed his strength in front of everyone. Although he was only a lower Divine King at Perfected Realm, and Ning Changha was a middle Divine King, he had the confidence to challenge him. Facing Yuan Tianji and Zhuangqing, the two Divine Kings, Ning Changha was stunned at first. Then, he laughed and said, Two Divine Kings, this is a good card. But what awaits you is only the destruction of your divine souls. Ning Changha's face revealed a trace of madness. He looked a little evil, and there was a faint black aura flowing around him. Ning Changha, you're too confident. Although I, Yuan Tianji, am only a lower Divine King, I'm not afraid of a middle Divine King like you. Together with the Divine King Zhuangqing, killing you will be a piece of cake. Ning Changha's smile was extremely evil. A trace of doubt flashed across Yuan Tianji's mind, but he still scolded him, wanting to test his opponent's confidence. Ning Changha, this old thing is a little strange. He's different from before. I think he might have been possessed by the devil. The Divine King Zhuangqing and Ning Changha were both Grand Elders of the Tianyun School, so they were very familiar with him. Although Ning Changha's character was not good in the past, he was definitely not as crazy as he was now. Deputy Sect Leader Yuan, Grand Elder Zhuang, be careful. Ning Changha has a very strong extraterrestrial demon aura. If I'm not wrong, he might be hiding a Divine King level extraterrestrial demon. Night Sorrow, who was observing Ning Changha with the eye of the sea serpent, transmitted his voice to Yuan Tianji and Zhuangqing, reminding them to be careful. When Ning Changha first appeared, there was no extraterrestrial demon aura on him. However, as his divine essence erupted, the extraterrestrial demon aura gradually spread out uncontrollably. Others might not be able to sense it clearly, but Night Sorrow had the power of merit, so he could sense it clearly. Moreover, his eye of the sea serpent could also see the faint black aura, which was the characteristic of the extraterrestrial demon. I see. Although Ning Changha was arrogant in the past, he would never do such a presumptuous thing in the sect. It seems that his mind has been completely influenced by the extraterrestrial demon. Hearing Night Sorrow's voice, Yuan Tianji's voice, no matter what happened later, the Tianyun School's strength would have an obvious decline, which was something he did not want to see. His ambition was to lead the Tianyun clan well on behalf of the missing clan master. Zhuangqing, between the eyebrows of the Divine King, the Zhuangqing, was completely filled with battle intent. To them, today was the best time to eliminate the Tianyun School. As he spoke, he waved his hand and struck a palm at Ning Changha. It was a probing palm, which was just to put pressure on Ning Changha. All right. Today, we will completely eliminate the trash in Tianyun School. Yuan Tianji roared and attacked Ning Changha as well. He wanted Ning Changha to summon the extraterrestrial demon. At the same time, he sent a voice transmission to Night Sorrow, only the sect master can activate the sect's formation. Enter the basement from under my bed in my original palace and activate the formation I set up. There are the divine crystals needed to activate the formation. Today, neither Ning Changhan nor the extraterrestrial demon can be spared. I will go after I kill Ning Tianan. Hearing Yuan Tianji's voice transmission, Night Sorrow responded and struck a thunderous blow at Ning Tianan. When Ning Tianan wanted to dodge, he used the Divine Vitality Dragon locking array to bind him. Ning Tianan, who was trapped in the enclosed space, quickly cried for help. When he fought with Night Sorrow just now, he was already at a disadvantage and had no courage to fight. B*****. An exalted god ant, you still dare to attack at this moment. How dare you? Seeing Night Sorrow attacking Ning Tianan again, Ning Changha immediately struck a palm in anger. Your opponent is us. However, with Yuan Tianji and Zhuang Qing blocking him, this attack obviously didn't pose any threat to Night Sorrow. Go to hell. Ning Changha's attack didn't come. Under the obstruction of some Sir gods, Night Sorrow directly pierced through Ning Tianan's chest with his halberd. I said that what awaits you is the destruction of your divine soul. After piercing through Ning Tianan's chest, Night Sorrow waved his hand and shattered his elixir field. Then, he pierced his immortal sea and killed him completely. Ah! How dare you kill my grandson? Ant, you're courting death. Ning Changha, who was restrained, saw Night Sorrow killing Ning Tianan instantly. He was so angry that his eyes turned red. At this moment, he said coldly, "Today, I'm going to massacre the entire Tianyun school. All of you must die." As soon as he finished speaking, Ning Changha summoned 4 Divine King-level extraterrestrial demons. These 4 Divine King-level extraterrestrial demons were similar in strength to shelter from the cold that Night Sorrow had encountered before. Ning Changha regretted summoning these 4 extraterrestrial demons only now. If he had summoned them earlier, Ning Tianan might not have been killed by Night Sorrow instantly. Ning Changha, it seems like you've colluded with the extraterrestrial demons. This is a complete betrayal of the sect and the entire realm of gods. Today, I, Yuan Tianji, will definitely clean up Tianyun school. When Yuan Tianji saw Ning Changha summoning 4 Divine King-level extraterrestrial demons, he couldn't help but feel relieved at the same time. If Ning Changha had summoned these evil creatures earlier, the entire Tianyun school would definitely be massacred. However, with Tan Qingfeng and Fan Xianyun, the 2 Divine King from Tianqing Gate, present today, even if Ning Changha summoned 4 Divine King-level extraterrestrial demons, Tianyun school would still be able to put up a fight. It seems like some things are really related to fate. Unknowingly, Night Sorrow's fate is affecting the entire Tianyun school's fate. Seeing Ning Changha summoning 4 Divine King-level extraterrestrial demons, Zhuang Qing and the Divine King were also relieved. They thought that if Tan Qingfeng hadn't come to Tianyun school with Night Sorrow to befriend him, Tianyun school might have been destroyed directly this time. Ha ha ha. Yuan Tianji, you and Zhuang Qing are 2 pieces of trash. You want to go against the 5 Divine King-level extraterrestrials? Hearing Yuan Tianji's words, Ning Changha laughed with an evil face. In his opinion, it was simply impossible for Yuan Tianji and Zhuang Qing to defeat the 5 Divine King-level extraterrestrials. Today, not only would Yuan Tianji and Zhuang Qing die, but the entire Tianyun school would also be massacred. He wanted to avenge his grandson. Man proposes, God disposes. Ning Changha, I'm here. It's not up to you and these bastards to act presumptuously. At this moment, Tan Qingfeng appeared in midair. Just now, he had been hiding in Lu Qingyuan's spatial magic device. You extraterrestrial demons have schemed against the major sects time and time again. It seems like we need to settle the score. A moment later, Fan Xianyun's figure also appeared. He stared coldly at the extraterrestrial demons in front of him. Chapter 2634. Tianqing Gate's Gate Master, Tan Qingfeng. Hasn't Tianqing Gate always been at odds with Tianyun School? Mu Baiyu once killed your personal disciple. Why are you here now? Ning Changhe was stunned when he saw the upper-level divine king, Tan Qingfeng. However, he was only stunned for a moment before he questioned him with a crazed expression. My disciple was killed. That's a small grudge. You colluded with the extraterrestrial demons. To the cultivators of Yunxian continent, that's a huge grudge. Today, I, Tan Qingfeng, will destroy your souls. Tan Qingfeng had a murderous look on his face. He was not careless at all when facing the extraterrestrial demons. If that's the case, you can die too. Ning Changhe roared with a cold expression, kill. 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 Destroy the entire Tianyun school. Although he's an upper-level divine king, we have 5 divine kings. They shouldn't be a match for us. Among them, the extraterrestrial demon Black River analyzed the situation and said, the 4 of you stall these 4 divine kings. I'll kill all the disciples of Tianyun school first. After killing all the ants, I'll cooperate with you to kill these divine kings. All right. You take care of that Night Sorrow who killed my grandson first. Ning Changhe, who had a crazed look on his face, said something to the extraterritorial demon named Heihe before continuing to fight with Yuan Tianji. Jing Yun, go to Deputy Sect Master Yuan's former residence. Enter the secret passage under the bed and activate the array he set up. Night Sorrow originally planned to activate the array set up by Yuan Tianji after killing Ning Tianan. However, when the battle between divine kings started, a divine king immediately chased after him. Seeing this, he quickly sent a telepathic message to Jing Yun. But what about you? Seeing that Night Sorrow was being targeted by a divine king-level extraterrestrial demon, Jing Yun didn't want to leave and was prepared to help. However, before she could finish her sentence, Night Sorrow interrupted her. Night Sorrow said in a serious tone, go. Don't waste a single second. Otherwise, Tianyun School would be in big trouble today. Judging from the current situation, this extra divine king Black River was the variable in the normal battle situation. Without the divine king to keep it in check, it could slaughter without restraint. Night Sorrow felt that activating the array would have a positive impact on the battle. Hence, he gave Jing Yun an absolute order. All right. Be careful. After glancing at Night Sorrow, who was being chased by the divine king, Jing Yun, who was extremely worried, gave her orders and rushed towards Night Moon Peak amidst the chaos. Although she left decisively, she was still very worried about Night Sorrow's safety. No matter how strong Night Sorrow was, he was only a mid-level divine king. His opponent was the insufferably arrogant divine king. This wasn't a fair battle at all. Merit deity, your flesh and blood must be incomparably delicious. The other divine king were all busy killing each other. With no one stopping him, Black River roared proudly. As a divine king, he had absolute confidence in dealing with Night Sorrow. Although he didn't seem to be in a rush when he attacked, every attack would threaten Night Sorrow's life. At this moment, the 4 divine king, Tan Qingfeng, Fan Xianyun, Yuan Tianji, and Zhuang Qing, were all pinned down and couldn't care about anything else. Ning Changhe and the other 3 divine king-level extraterrestrial demons were desperately exhausting the 4 divine kings. Clearly, they were trying to buy time for Black River. At the same time, many divine lords from the Tianyun school suddenly betrayed him. These people's eyes were filled with a strong red color. They weren't afraid of being injured at all when they fought. Clearly, they had been dominated by their demonic nature. Lu Qingyuan and the other elders brought some godly king seedlings and engaged in a massacre with the godly monarchs who had gone mad. Facing a real divine king, how can I break out of this situation? Night Sorrow, who was being chased by Black River, knew that it was impossible for him to defeat the divine king. However, he naturally wouldn't sit still and wait for death. Every attack from Black River just now was terrifying, but he had successfully dodged 4 or 5 attacks. However, if this continued, he would be hit sooner or later. Night Sorrow, stay closer to me. If you're too far away, I won't be able to help you. At this moment, Tan Qingfeng transmitted his voice to Night Sorrow. He was the upper-level Divine King and was the strongest person present. However, he couldn't spare too much energy to help Night Sorrow when fighting against a mid-level Divine King extraterrestrial demon. Okay. Night Sorrow, who had no other choice, responded and moved closer to Tan Qingfeng. This was the only way. Haha. You're trying to escape to the upper-level Divine King? That's a good plan, but you can't do it. Merit deity, you'd better let me eat you up. Extraterrestrial demon Black River instantly saw through Night Sorrow's intention. He stood between Night Sorrow and Tan Qingfeng and didn't give him a chance at all. The aura on his body was extremely evil and gave people an extremely uncomfortable feeling. After blocking Night Sorrow, he completely unleashed the power of the Divine King extraterrestrial demon and used his divine domain to bind Night Sorrow. He smiled coldly and said, "Your strength is not bad. You're a high god, but you're stronger than most divine lords. But your path will only end here. Because I, Black River, will kill you with my own hands. You can die with pride if you can last a few rounds in the hands of the Divine King." The Divine King's divine domain. Night Sorrow was suppressed by the Divine King's divine domain. Although he could rely on his powerful body to move, his speed was very slow. If Black River attacked again, he wouldn't be able to dodge at all. Under such circumstances, Night Sorrow made up his mind and swallowed a pill to recover his divine essence energy. He completely recovered and activated the Treastrimsa battle mystic technique, ready to fight to the death. He thought that even if he died in battle, he wouldn't let Black River have an easy time. In the end, he could choose to self-destruct even his body and Samsara halberd. Raging flames demon subduing. Virtuous dragon lock formation. When Black River fought Night Sorrow, it was like a cat playing with a mouse. This also gave him a chance to attack. After using these two moves, Night Sorrow used the third move of the Green Rock soul-rending roar, triple roar shattering Samsara. Ha ha ha. And, you still don't know how big the gap between the Divine King and the High Gods is, right? In the face of Night Sorrow's attack, Black River, who was only slightly affected by the virtuous dragon-locking formation, said in a cold voice filled with ridicule. Black River, everyone is fighting to the death to stop the other Divine King for you. What are you doing? Why do you need so much time to kill a high god? At this moment, extraterrestrial demon Black Star, who was fighting Tan Qingfeng, reprimanded him unhappily. I'll kill him now. Hearing this, Black River's aura became even stronger. When he attacked again, the strength was completely different. At this moment, Night Sorrow was suppressed by the opponent's divine domain. Even moving became difficult, let alone dodging Black River's attack. Go to hell. An ant will be an ant in the end. After attacking, Black River looked at Night Sorrow with disdain. This time, he was going all out. I can't block it. Facing this attack, Night Sorrow knew in his heart that he couldn't block it. Chapter 2635. The murderous aura was a little dense. Night Sorrow knew that it was impossible for him to completely block the Divine King's attack. In that instant, he glanced in the direction of Night Moon Peak and made a decision to self-destruct. He wanted to self-destruct his body and the heavenly Samsara halberd to deal a blow to Black River. You want to self-destruct to deal with me? You're thinking too much. Even if an ant self-destructs, it will still be the power of an ant. Black River looked at Night Sorrow with a strange smile. He was absolutely confident that he could escape unscathed from the self-destruction. After all, the Divine King's understanding of space was not something that the exalted gods could compare to. Junior Night Sorrow, don't be rash. I will help you. However, just as Night Sorrow was about to self-destruct, a voice suddenly sounded from the bottom of his heart. This voice was very gentle. He couldn't tell if it was a male or female, but it gave off a sense of stability. Junior? You are? Hearing this address, Night Sorrow was clearly a little surprised. He couldn't think of any senior in Tianyun school. Just as Night Sorrow opened his mouth to ask, a white figure floated over from the horizon and slashed Black River's attack with a sword. Divine Lord, you can break my attack. Who are you? Black River was clearly a little surprised that his Shurkill attack towards Night Sorrow was broken. He looked at the newcomer and snorted coldly. The other party was only a Divine Lord, but the strength of his Divine Essence energy was almost on par with the Divine King. Tianyun School's Mu Baiyu. Mu Baiyu, who was dressed in white, replied and continued to attack Black River with his sword. Senior Mu Baiyu, thank you for saving my life. Night Sorrow was very grateful that Mu Baiyu had appeared and saved him. He noticed that Mu Baiyu, who was fighting Heihe, was not at a disadvantage at all. In fact, he even seemed to be suppressing Heihe. It was rumored that it was already a miracle for the invincible god monarchs of the god realm to not be at a disadvantage when fighting against the Divine King. It was almost impossible for them to defeat him completely. Yet, Mu Baiyu was showing signs of victory. However, Night Sorrow was dumbfounded when he used the sea serpent's eye to take a look. He discovered that Mu Baiyu, the legend of Tianyun School and the object of admiration of countless female disciples, was actually a female cultivator. If this matter were to spread, it would definitely break the hearts of countless female disciples. Of course, this was also good news for the male disciples. Junior brother Night Sorrow, there's no need to be so polite. You've won supreme glory for the sect in the 7 Sects tournament. I won't watch you get slaughtered by the extraterrestrial demons. Mu Baiyu, who was fighting against Black River, was clearly at ease. He even had the time to send a sound transmission to Night Sorrow. Senior sister. I'll lend you a hand. Night Sorrow felt a little awkward when he called a woman senior sister. While Mu Baiyu was fighting against Black River, Night Sorrow used the virtuous dragon lock array to help her restrict Black River's movements. Although the virtuous dragon lock array couldn't restrict the Divine King, it could obviously reduce his speed. After being interrupted by Night Sorrow, Black River, who was already at a disadvantage, immediately became more passive. Black River, what are you doing? You can't even kill a high god and are at a disadvantage against a divine monarch. Are you still the Divine King? Black Star, who was facing Tan Qingfeng, noticed that Black River was being suppressed by a divine monarch and roared in anger. It's not that I'm not strong enough. The opponent's cultivation level is a divine monarch, but his actual combat strength is definitely at the level of the Divine King. That high god ant also has special methods that make me feel very uncomfortable, Black River explained with grievance. Ever since he became the Divine King, he had never seen such a powerful high god and divine monarch. He was very angry. What did you call me? Mu Baiyu, who heard Night Sorrow call her senior sister, sent a cold voice transmission. Her body trembled slightly. Nothing. I'll cooperate with you to kill the opponent. Mu Baiyu's reaction was very obvious when she heard him call her senior sister. Night Sorrow felt that he had said too much. However, Mu Baiyu continued to ask, did you call me senior sister just now? Yes, but I'll help you hide this secret. Night Sorrow guessed that she definitely didn't want to expose her identity as a female cultivator, so he replied. So, you already know that I'm a female cultivator? Mu Baiyu continued to ask. There was a trace of complexity in her tone. If I didn't know that you're a female cultivator, why would I call you senior sister? Night Sorrow muttered in his heart. However, he naturally wouldn't say that out loud. He replied, I can tell. Senior sister, be careful in battle. After killing the extraterrestrial demons that are causing trouble this time, I have something to discuss with you. Mu Baiyu's voice had calmed down a lot. After saying that, she continued to fight with Black River. With Night Sorrow's help, Black River was getting more and more passive. At this moment, Jingyan activated the array set up by Yuan Tianji. Could it be that the sect master has returned? The moment the array was activated, Ning Changhe, who was fighting with Yuan Tianji, was a little stunned. This was because the Tianyun School's sect-protecting array could only be activated by the sect master. I'm not afraid to tell you that this isn't a sect-protecting array. It's an array that I spent countless years to set up. Yuan Tianji laughed and said, now, Baiyu's strength is no longer inferior to the divine king. With the help of the array, none of you will be able to escape today. Yuan Tianji, I didn't expect you to set up such an array without anyone noticing. You're 100 times more scheming than Ho Jun. When the array was activated, Ning Changhe immediately felt a huge pressure, which caused his strength to drop from the level of a middle-level divine king to that of a low-level divine king. Such a huge pressure could completely affect the direction of this battle. He, who was originally very crazy, seemed to have calmed down a lot in an instant. This isn't good. I can't hold on any longer. We don't stand a chance in today's battle. Ning Changhe was still holding on under Yuan Tianji's attack. Black Star, who was fighting with Tan Qingfeng, could not hold on any longer. Now that the array was activated, they had no chance to escape even if they wanted to. Since we don't even have a chance to escape, let's kill a few more people. Ning Changhe, who had calmed down, locked his gaze on Night Sorrow during the battle. He said coldly, everyone, cooperate with me to kill this exalted god. He has the power of merit protecting him. If he grows up, he will become a huge threat to the extraterrestrial demons. All right. Let's kill this exalted god first, then find a chance to kill more people. Black Star couldn't resist Tan Qingfeng's attack anymore. It responded and then flew to the nearest mountain. It could feel that there were many living beings on the mountain, and they wanted to blow up the entire mountain with self-detonation. Oh no. Hurry up and stop him. Most of the people on this mountain are Night Sorrow's clansmen. Yuan Tianji, who saw through Black Star's intention, immediately shouted at Tan Qingfeng. The mountain that Black Star was flying toward belonged to Jing Yun. Most of the cultivators on the mountain were from the Night Moon dynasty. This was the arrangement of Sikong Chuyu. What? You said that most of the people on this mountain are Night Sorrow's clansmen? Chapter 2636. It was a net-shaped treasure, and its grade was between King and Dominator grade. After Tan Qingfeng threw it out, it immediately turned into a huge net that covered the sky and covered Black Star's position. From Black Star's point of view, this net was like the sky, covering the sky and covering the earth. There was no way to avoid it at all. He hid in the void and wanted to avoid it, but he was still wrapped up by the huge net. Evil spirit, you won't be able to do anything in front of me. After keeping Black Star in the net, Tan Qingfeng sneered. He hated the extraterrestrial demon in front of him very much, but he felt that it was more important to have a good relationship with Night Sorrow. After stopping the extraterrestrial demon from blowing up a mountain where Night Sorrow's people were, he was in a good mood. Night Sorrow. I'll leave this extraterrestrial demon to you. You control the bottle. With just a thought, this extraterrestrial demon's soul will be destroyed. After keeping Black Star in a transparent bottle divine weapon, Tan Qingfeng handed it to Night Sorrow. He then continued to participate in the battle with the other extraterrestrial demons. Thank you, Sect Leader Tan, for saving my people from Night Sorrow. Although Tan Qingfeng was trying to be friendly, he did play a role in turning the tide at the critical moment. Night Sorrow was very grateful and thanked him. Night Sorrow, you're welcome. When you rise in the future, just take care of me. Tan Qingfeng, who was fighting with the other extraterrestrial demons, replied with a smile. With his participation, Ning Changhe and the other extraterrestrial demons couldn't find a chance to self-destruct even if they wanted to. In less than 2 hours, they were all killed one after another. Night Sorrow, I heard that your eyes are very special and can see through all evil spirits. Follow me and check out the entire Tianyun school. After killing Ning Changhe and the others who were causing trouble, Yuan Tianji looked at Night Sorrow and said. When he heard this, Mu Baiyu shot his gaze at Yi Shan and sent a voice transmission. Don't forget what I said. Okay. I got it. Night Sorrow opened his mouth to reply. On the surface, he was replying to Yuan Tianji, but in reality, he was also replying to Mu Baiyu. After that, He followed Yuan Tianji and walked through the entire Tianyun school, ferreting out all the people who had the evil aura of the heavenly demon. Our Tianyun school has gone through a great calamity. Although our numbers have been greatly reduced and our strength has decreased by nearly 50%, we have finally returned to the orthodox school. This is a great thing. After the matter was settled, Yuan Tianji said something at the banquet. He looked at Tan Qingfeng and Fan Xianyun and said, I have to thank the two of you for your generous help today. Otherwise, Tianyun School, would not have been able to contend against so many extraterrestrial demons. You don't have to be so courteous, Vice Sect Leader Yuan. When I made my move, it was because of Night Sorrow. Tan Qingfeng looked at Night Sorrow with a smile and said enviously, your Tianyun School is really lucky to have Night Sorrow as a disciple. Haha. Everything is predestined. In fact, Night Sorrow chose to join Tianyun School for the sake of the Heavenly Phoenix Fortune Pill. Yuan Tianji explained with a smile and continued, right now, the clues to the Heavenly Phoenix Fortune Pill are not clear, but I have already sent people to investigate. I believe there will be results soon. Thank you, Vice Sect Leader Yuan. Night Sorrow heard this and cupped his hands. Long Tianqing was currently helping him with the matter of Wu Lingfei. He naturally did not want to let her down. He hoped to refine the Heavenly Phoenix Fortune Pill as soon as possible and save Zhenyuan. Night Sorrow. Recently, I am preparing to officially become the acting sect leader. What do you think of this? Yuan Tianji continued. Since Tan Qingfeng's arrival, he had been more polite to Night Sorrow and valued his opinion. As a disciple, Night Sorrow has no right to speak about the major matters of the sect. Night Sorrow looked at Yuan Tianji and said, but a country cannot be without a ruler for a day, and a sect cannot be without a leader. Vice Sect Leader Yuan becoming the acting sect leader is imperative. The other elders and Baiyu, what do you think? After asking Night Sorrow, Yuan Tianji looked at Lu Qingyuan, Mu Baiyu, and the others. The others naturally did not have any objections. They all felt that this matter was a matter of course and there was nothing inappropriate about it. In that case, I, Yuan Tianji, will become the acting sect leader of Tianyun School from now on. As for the ceremony, there is no need to worry about it. Yuan Tianji raised his wine cup and said, let me toast everyone. Then, he tilted his head back and drank. Yuan Tianji becoming the acting sect leader of Tianyun School was something that everyone expected, so everyone was in a good mood. But at this time, Night Sorrow said worriedly, everyone, I'm thinking that since so many heavenly demons have infiltrated Tianyun School, will the other sects encounter the same thing? Or even, could there be a few sects that have been completely controlled by the heavenly demons, just like Soaring Heaven sect? What you said is very reasonable. It seems that we can't go directly to Soaring Heaven sect, but should go to the other sects first. Tan Qingfeng immediately stood up and said. If the situation was really that serious, it would be a test of life and death for Cloud Fairy Continent. After all, if it weren't for Night Sorrow's influence, Tianyun School would have been completely destroyed. Indeed. We will immediately organize the top experts to go to the other sects to support them. As for Tianyun School, although it will be empty inside, there is an array to prevent ordinary people from attacking. Yuan Tianji thought for a while, then continued to organize the team. Night Sorrow, Zhuang Qing, the Divine King, Lu Qingyuan, Mu Baiyu, and the others were all in the list. Saving people is like putting out a fire. This matter must be done as soon as possible. We will set off immediately. Qingyuan, take out the Heavenly Cloud Shuttle. After counting the elite team of 20 people, Yuan Tianji spoke to everyone and had Lu Qingyuan take out the Heavenly Cloud Shuttle, ready to take everyone with him. Sect leader, Night Sorrow still has something to deal with, so he won't be coming this time. When everyone gathered, Night Sorrow said. In the battle with the Divine King, he couldn't intervene at all. He estimated that the battles of the other sects were the same, so he would be a burden if he went. Moreover, Night Sorrow had decided that no matter what, he had to rescue Wu Lingfei first before doing anything else. Otherwise, he would never be able to let go of a huge stone in his heart. Since you have thought about it, then stay. If you want to do something, if you need the sex help, you can just tell us. Yuan Tianji said to Yi Shang and transmitted his voice, don't let anyone get close to the sex formation. Now that my Tianyun school is empty, if the array closes, the consequences will be unimaginable. Sect leader, I will take care of this matter. After replying to Yuan Tianji, Night Sorrow said goodbye to everyone, have a safe trip. Wait, I still have something to say. You're tuning in to the Dreamy Love Stories YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.